Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? It is another fantastic broadcast. I never actually put your camera in the thing because we went so fast in trying to set this up, and I'm doing 9 billion things at once. But welcome back, everybody, to
we'll get this whole tech thing down one day. We'll be fine. We'll
Challengers.
be
Woo!
the reason that they put a whole team out for this normally, but it's all good because before we know it, we'll be rolling super smooth. It can't be any worse than earlier on when I was like spent an hour with no audio. I
kind of like you as a black rectangle. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so many different ways to answer that. We shall move forward. Yeah, no, today is gonna be good. I mean, we got one hell of a game starts off, and then later on it gets all sorts of permutations and everything else.
Who do we have first? Because this is, I'll be honest with you, chat, there's just a miscommunication between Enigma and I, where he did EU earlier with Seymour. It was great. I watched it. It was some banger games. It was really fun. And then I was like, oh, he's just doing EU because him and Seymour are gonna do it, so he can like maybe for once in his life have like an early night and like go enjoy it. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, you go do that, man. And he's like, yo, we're doing NA here soon, right? And I was like, ha, sure. So that's why we're here. So if we seem a little discombobulated, that's why, but it's a-okay.
I feel like with the idea of being a watch party, I mean, don't get me wrong, like obviously there's a level that we can get away with, but there's also a level of discombobulation that I feel like we're supposed to have. I don't feel like we're supposed to. I mean, that's kind of the fun part.
We don't have to be.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally, as a two, we're figuring out production, casting, and everything else. Thankfully, we get blessed by help from the community with stats and all that stuff. Otherwise, wow. But like, yeah, we're figuring it out as we go. Don't worry. Again, soon it'll be super smooth. We'll be absolutely like popping, and then it's just going to be about evolving it from there. So really excited for that. But the first game is Stallions against Cabal. Now this is Abe, Lurks, Illy, and Major Maniac against Kuti, Rupert, KB, and Wads. For the Stallions team, the story is, well, it's a case of what has, you know, you end up changing your team after Dallas. You get top 12 at Dallas. Encourage goes out. Major Maniac comes in. In the previous Elite, Illy got top 8 in stage 2 with Omit. Omit then drop Illy, bring in Johnny Standy Brack, who's the other one? I forget the other player in that foursome, but they went on to win the Dallas Open. So for Illy, it was a case of, well, I get finished top 8 in Elite, get dropped from the team, that then go on and win the Dallas Open. So I think for Illy, it's a lot of proving that he's still at this level, that he wasn't the problem on that roster. Major Maniacs had a tough season, top 24 in Dallas, and didn't even make stage 2. So it's a case of, all right, he's got a couple of things to prove. That's obviously 2 Call of Duty League veterans right there. So
yep.
And then in Lurks and Abe, you've got these 2 young guns that I feel like proven themselves a lot, proven that they not only belong at this level, but deserve to be looking further up at the, you know, potential league spots further down the line. So yeah, a lot on the line for these gentlemen. For Kuti, Rupert, KB, and Wads, these guys got top 12 in the Dallas Open. Kuti and Rupert have been playing together for quite a long time, and these guys were actually a foursome early on in the season, then went different ways, came back together, and then Kuti and Rupert in stage 2 they got top 6, in stage 1 they got top 8, so getting better every stage. So is this the team that can lift them into that top 4 kind of conversation?
Well, the other thing too is I'm pretty sure as well, because I just want to shout them out, I'm pretty sure Rupert and Wads are on that St. Clair's Saints college COD roster as well, and they have been kind of cooking, I feel like is a great way to say it. They've been doing really, really well in college COD, so I'm excited to see them here, obviously in Challengers. It's kind of a nice little sort of Venn diagram that we see between the college COD League and obviously Challengers. A couple of these players who are you know, being able to play in both and kind of get their reps in both. I'm just trying to make sure that there's anybody else on that roster who potentially
all gaming Twitter at, if anyone is able to send that over, that would be lovely. I'll just try and find it. The problem is with like Twitter these days is like everyone has got like, it was esports _ Pulsar was the team earlier, and I'm like, brother, I'm never finding that in a million years, especially not with how bad the search function is these days. So yeah, I'm trying to find it. It used to just be a case of like you could search for anything even remotely relatable and it would like find it, but I guess not a thing anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to harp on it too much. I don't want Elon to ban me. So we'll move forward. But yeah, I'm trying to find I've gone to. I'm trying to find Cabal Gaming's Twitter app, but I guess I just end up
interesting.
leaving it.
Yeah. So Cootie's on Cabal. He's also on that. He's on that Saints. He's on the St. Clair Saints team, and then KB, who's also on that Saints team, is on Omit Brooklyn. So very interesting that we see like a couple of these players who are able to they go against each other in challengers and they're coming together in CCL. It's kind of interesting that we see that. But at least the point being, you have some duo chemistry there. You got some players who love playing against each other.
We do indeed
and
have
with each other.
Some duo chemistry. It's going to be interesting because I mean, for this foursome of Kuti, Rupert, KB, and Wads, for this Cabal lineup, it's again a case of you should have plenty of chemistry and plenty of reasons to look good through this. Obviously, the situation is with, as is pretty much always the case with North American Elite, we go into the final day and pretty much anyone can qualify. Omit, 4-0, everyone after that 2-2 except for 6F Carolina. So it's going to come down to some ridiculous permutations, some ridiculous stuff to kind of like roll things out. And yeah, I'm trying to pull up the CDC Intel did a phenomenal tweet earlier that looked that kind of broke down exactly how it all plays out. But quite frankly, what we're hoping to do is avoid any of that and make it really simple. So I'm pretty sure the game after that, by the way, as well, is Vegas Academy. And just to remind myself which team it is that they are up against. Do have a big list. Again, we are pulling this together today. Lore Gaming, Vegas Academy against Lore Gaming. So yeah, we got ourselves two bangers because the others set as well. Vegas, the Falcons Academy are sitting in third, currently 2-2. Lore Gaming sitting in fourth, 1-3. And a lot of the times, if you win 2 games in groups, you are through. But for Falcons Academy, there's no such thing because again, it's super close over there. So it's just
very
ridiculous.
close.
It's the way North America works.
No, I mean it's kind of been fun, right? To see a lot of these teams have to go against each other, and then it kind of coming down to the wire. This is always the fun part when you get to these parts of a lot of these sort of leagues and sort of cups and things going on, right? Where we're kind of at this moment where we're like, how are it's sort of your games that you had earlier on really are coming in to matter here and now, right? You have that first week where maybe you go 0-2 or you split 1-1. And you're going to be looking back at some of those games and some of those maps where you go, wow, that was really close. We just scammed that away. I really wish we would have been able to kind of keep together as a unit. So that way we would have been able to make it on through and, not be in this sort of predicament as we get here, in Call of Duty Challengers Series 3. So it's really fun to be able to see that across a lot of our players. I was actually double checking because I thought I saw somebody say something about 6F Carolina and like the org just disbanding. But maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
They've so then that is tough. That is not something you ever like to see. Obviously, the orgs are the backbone, the lifeblood of our spaces. So no, hopefully not. Big fan of what 6F had done. Be interesting to obviously if that is the case, and I'd be curious to know why. But Manny, Cryptic, Proda, and Kips. We covered these guys last week. Actually, we got an opportunity to take a look. Kips in particular had a couple moments to impress of. I think that as a team they looked solid. So to see them sitting there 0-4, 1 map win. Brother, we must have seen them on a high or something because that is insane. 1 win and 12 losses is a tough way to go into your final day. And I mean, who do they even have on their final day? They have Royal Spartans, so they're a team fighting for qualification, fighting very much for their playoff lives. So that's not going to be an easy series.
No, that is a tough series for certain. That's there. What's up, Berto? I see you in the chat.
Yo, what's up, dude?
I'm hearing some COD sounds in my ears right now, so I think we are getting ready to head on into map number 1. We haven't had a chance to really talk about it. Like I said, welcome to the Scuffed podcast. Actually, I can't say that because that's the actual name of a real podcast. But our maps and modes here loading on in. We'll only talk about the first one. We're kicking off with a Vault Hardpoint as we get ready to drop on in. I am hearing us 2 seconds away from hopping on over. So we do that, but then we got a protocol search and destroy, a vault control, and then a double hacienda to end it on a hacienda hardpoint and hacienda search and destroy. We see Stallions vetoing red card and Cabal vetoing protocol. So let's hop on into game, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to kickstart this. And because I am great at my job, I obviously opened up all of the programs I needed to, but hopping on in here into 2 seconds as we join on in. There we go. Illy's going to be the one to claim first blood here on the P1 on the Vault hardpoint. You guys all know the deal here. It's P2, P4. What we are really aiming towards is it's going to be Rupert Skywalker. Definitely walking on clouds right now for a solid 2-piece as Cootie, the teammate, will cut on down the front.
Got to be careful here, by the way. If you're Cabal, twice already, you've lost your backman in these fights, and as such, nearly flip Stallions out. We've seen it happen multiple times. It's one of those situations where, logically, you should not be flipping people out, but if you do lose your players beyond the end of this vault, you do set up that risk for the game to just go, you know what, actually, I fancy this guy over here. So Cabal do enough throughout these last couple of 10 seconds to take control of P2's side. Not that they won't have company real soon. Stallions, a very aggressive team. And Cabal, they don't exactly have a defensive setup in place yet.
No, I mean, you got the spawns coming out through. Number 5? Abe?
What is that?
What? Okay, I don't... We're gonna talk about that one in the break. We're gonna go back to the VAR on that spawn. I need an Enigma breakdown on that. Oh my god. Okay, lock it back on in. It's flurry of blows on the point here. I'm trying to keep my composure somehow. Cootie will be the one to have a last laugh sitting here. Can you find one more in the back? I don't think you can, but Hill will get contested. You get ripped on off. Pretty much nobody gaining some strong time here on the P2, which is a little bit interesting. What you'd like to see. It looks like it maybe will be a little bit of scrap time going towards the Stallions. Lurks on 3 and 8 right now. Not a very hot start for him, but thankfully the two teammates are helping you bring it on through. Pretty bang even after P2.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think the Stallions were even expecting that spawn, so they get it. And you end up in a situation where even though the kills come through, you can't really take advantage of it. So low hill time across the board here for Cabal and Stallions. Cabal are going to just take a hold of that P3 side of the map, P4 side of the map, and make sure that they've got it locked down after the recent jump scare that they just had. Wads is not checking his back and gets shot as such in his back, and that's going to hand mid-map control to the Stallions. So Cabal got to be careful here. You don't end up being one-dimensional, end up being trapped in the back, or even worse, having someone flip you out by playing it through solo side.
P3. You got KB top art trying to hold down this streak. Cootie, can you make something happen through the mid? No, you will get taken on out. No real opportunity right now for Cabal to kind of surge on forward, but thankfully off of a nade and some good gun skill, you'll be able to grab the final few remaining seconds here. But more importantly, you start to gain control of the map for this P4. Well, at least you had until a 2-piece will come on through. So you'll soak the rest of this if you are the Stallions. You start surging on forward as New will get ready to pop. And it looks like right now, if I'm looking at map presence, the Stallions are really setting themselves up to take hold of P4.
Yeah, it's unlucky again for Cabal, really. You could argue that they could spawn in the back, but Cootie does a good job there to stay alive as long as he does, and at least take one with him to the grave. Lets KB set up deep, and then allows his teammates to punch in through the front because Stallions can't set themselves up. However, 2 kills will go the way of Stallions. So Rupert, KB, they've got big jobs here in the back, and as KB falls, Rupert... well, he's going to be enough to be a nuisance, and if he can find this kill as well, he does not. I was going to say, give an opportunity for Cabal to do something, but as it is, they're going to have to hit directly through the front. And they aren't staying away, though. Stallions going to have pressure immediately.
Yeah, it's really just a bang out. You see some close spawns come in from both teams there as everybody is just trying to go ahead and flood on through for these final couple seconds. Stallions, though, they do manage to hold a lot of that point, so a lead has been brewing. But some scrap time will keep Cabal just on the hair of the Stallions here. Illy trying to be the point man. The fantastic AR, we know that he is. He's good for 1, but it's not enough as they get cut on down. Lurks tries to hit a route through the bottom. Won't be able to find some ways there as Major Maniac, last one from the Stallions here, left onto the point, and it is just a feeding frenzy right now for Seawads. He's good for 3. Backs on up to open and will get cut on down. It's just a great job right now for Cabal to answer on back, getting themselves right back into this game.
I gotta hand a lot of flowers there to Lurks, by the way. Stays alive for so long. It might be 7-15 right now. That is a bad start. Your flowers won't be for that. But the fact that he stays alive for so long stops Cabal not only getting onto the point and then setting themselves up, but also stops them pushing through. I think if they get that quick 4th kill there, they can bully on through, push towards dirt, try and spawn trap the Stallions, or even better, flip out for P2. So great job from him, and in a tough passage of play. And as it looks towards the end of P1 here, you will have Stallions in control of P2's side, but Cabal are setting up the hit here. 2 pull side, 2 through the middle.
P2 will pop. Already we have some members of the Stallions on board. You'd love to see them hold this one a little bit more than they did in that last rotation. Obviously, you're not getting blessed by the spawns like you did last time. So you're going to have to work a little bit hard for it. 2 members of the Cabal. They are here. Illy, good for finding Seawads, laying down in the hot tub, trying to relax a little bit. But, well, your time is cut short. But like this, Lurks, can you manage to find one through the bin? No, you'll let the rest of your team know where they are spawning. A Major Maniac, you're in a great spot right now. Can you catch any of these players? No, you get found on out, and you are dropping like flies if you are the Stallions, and it's KB coming big for 3, gets you the last 15 seconds of P2, and you can see they start making their way towards P3.
Huge gaps there for Stallions as they start to consider whether or not to rotate. They're told that they will have to regardless, and KB, well, he's here to fight for it. He does get himself onto a 5 spree, but that'll be all she wrote for now. Rupert just trying to hold here at Lion, try and force the Stallions to hit from the outside, and Illy will be there to be a thorn in the side at bottom R. And while he is now cleared out, Cabal will take a hold. They'll also get 4 dead in the feed. So Wads here trying to push up on the point. Coverage from teammates and mid-map control. A great setup for Cabal if they can execute.
Rupert, a huge trade in that 2v1. Will definitely let KB know that, yeah, you got Abe jumping out top. Cat, go ahead, make that read. Flies on back. Seawads yet again finding another one. This is just trade central here on P3. Cabal doing a fantastic job of not letting this lead get too far out for them. I think this P4 is what's going to be really pivotal in this game. KB on the inside, absolutely frying. 18 and 12. That's the type of stat line you love to see. They'll help push you deeper into this map. You'd love to be able to take this map 1.
Even more importantly is the fact that he kept on maintaining mid control, just holding that portion of the map, which has allowed now this solid defensive setup for Cabal. Something that the Stallions are really going to struggle to punch through, especially when Kuti does things like that. In for 2, in for, oh my lord, nearly 3. Does eventually confirm it, and as Wads finds the 4th, you're going to send Stallions on yet another hunt here, as they will have to assess their next hit.
4 dead. KB keeping his eyes towards the prize here. Rips off 1, finds a 2nd, finds a 3rd! KB with his, I think that's like his 3-piece this entire map right now. Oh my god. You are shooting nukes right now. If you are KB, some fantastic stat lines coming all around from Cabal. I am surprised that this scoreline is not way more in their favor. But off of a flurry of kills, they'll maintain control of this P4. They'll take lead for, I think, the first time in this map here. Can they find it? A little bit of technical difficulties, maybe. Okay.
Well,
we're back.
I think we're all right. Yeah. And well, Cabal will be very happy with how that P4 played out. Managed to get themselves the first little bit of a cushion that we've seen through this map so far, but it's the style as well in which they did it. Ruthless stuff. Stallions now sprinting into the end of a team that have turned on all cylinders. And Wads is doing things like that to Abe at close range with the pistol and takes control of P2's side. Wonderful work. Stallions need to grab the match by the scruff of the neck here. You're letting all the momentum get away from you. You must stem the bleeding.
You have to. Cabal is just doing such a great job of finding these kills and converting it into time. As Seawads trying to push on forward. And you find it. No. P2 pops on up, and I like this. You got KB lurking on in the back, but it's all 4 members of Stallions. They're kind of going to be able to hit this 3-man way. Do you have any support here? No. Well, actually, I say that. Rupert, he'll be able to find Lurks. He finds Illy. Goes on down. Abe hits the hop up into top cat here. Wait. Do the callouts come on through? They do. We'll get caught on down. No wraps for you.
Yeah, I feel like Abe gets unlucky there with the timing. He jumps up into that hop up and misses a player passing him at solo, so doesn't get the opportunity to get up any information or cut that player down, and as such, it's going to be Cabal back in control. They break in for this P2. Wads thought he had more company than he actually did. Rupert's going to try and prevent players arriving through pool. Will be shut down for now. KB's got the cross though. And one of these moments where he's just making sure his teammates have an opportunity to push out. But there is Squander actually losing the fight. They'll have to reassess, break back in. But it's also a case of, do you bother? 15 seconds left. Do you just get yourself on over for that P4 side?
I think you do. I think you make the play there to at least find one. Okay, you do commit for a little bit here. Almost comes in with the team kill. Won't manage to get there, but P3 popping on up soon, and Cabal starting to push their way on forward. Would love to be able to at least put the pressure on for this P4. This is going to be a huge rotation for them, as Wads is going to be the one to kind of slither around here. That van tries to stay alive. KB will finally get cut down by Major Maniac, but you're getting some great time if you are Cabal here onto the P3. You're holding the line. You're making sure nobody's able to push on forward. And as I say that, though, it's going to be Lurks for a huge two-piece.
Still feel like the Stallions are going to be disappointed with this passage of play. They rotate over for P3 before the Cabal do. But the thing is, you never actually get any sort of setup. You never get any art control. And as such, Cabal win a couple of easy fights and end up with the better side of the map. You don't have P3 control right now, but you're happy to fight for it and some mid-map control. What I will say, last time, mid-map was all of the Cabal strategy. They don't have it for now. Rupert will find one, is traded. Got to be very wary, Major Maniac trying to hit that solo flank. And I think you are indeed. So you find it now. It's just about controlling mid.
Yeah, and you can see that it's a huge kill on a Major Maniac, and it's Wads who's going to be the one that's kind of lurking up here towards top. Cat, he doesn't get found, is good for at least one. Manages to play the life. Can you slide on into the point? No, you can't. So you will get found on out as the rest of your team does get cut through. KB gets stunned, not able to find the kill. Okay. The Stallions, they made their way onto P4 here. They're starting to soak. You need a solid break if you are Cabal here. All it takes is one, and you might be able to march your way to victory here. Rupert on the backside lands a good nade. That could be the start. Free Fire's coming on through. You find the player in the back. Okay. Wads, he's going to be able to come in and make the trade. Is it going to be enough? I don't think they win it here.
No, you can't. You will fall just short. It will be enough to walk into a scrappy P1 and feel very confident about seeing it off there. Kuti does enough to back his opponent down, and you're already seeing that quick rotation. Wads looking to hit through water here. Maybe actually he's considering poolside as his teammates begin to activate kills elsewhere. He's going for the flank. No one's expecting this.
Ooh, up here at the top, though, Abe makes the read. It's a huge gunfight, but it doesn't really matter when the rest of the team is down here on the point. Cabal with a flawless rotation. They play it well. They get the information. It is 250 to 200. A close game, man. I mean, that was tied for most of those raps, and it's only, I think, about one hill that really goes in favor of Cabal that gets them into this opportunity where they're able to have it. Absolutely insane, and I assume this is probably one of the three KB three pieces we saw. Yeah,
19 three pieces that we saw.
That was
like, yeah,
it was like a 4-piece. Oh my god. Okay.
Jesus. All right, KB was shooting. I mean, I think that's going to be one of the things. We're going to look at the scoreboard, and it's quite frankly ridiculous. What are you up here? Like up 12, up 23, up by 6, so what? That's up 29 before we even get the fourth player in. So you're up 30 something in kills. I mean, that's insane. I think there's a couple of lessons to take away from that. The first one is that if you are Cabal, you weren't turning those kills into points advantages, right? Because it was such a tight game all the way through that. I think some of that is bad luck. That spawn, for example, P2, whatever that was, we both jumped in our seats from that. And that's exactly the kind of thing that, you know, it can cost you 20, 30 points instead of having this cushion. You're still scrapping it out, and that changes the context and complexities around some of the other hills. So, I mean, for Cabal, I think you'll be pretty happy with a lot of it. I think I go back to something that Stallions did towards the end there that kind of summed up where they were at. If you're not slaying, your fundamentals have to be absolutely spot on.
Yes.
There's the back end of P2, and we both called about whether or not Cabal should leave it, rotate on over, and just play for P3. They start to kind of half do that, but the Stallions are already on their way with more numbers, but they don't really take control of that P3 side of the map. They don't lock down art. They don't lock down potentially P4. There's no real mid presence. They just kind of ended up in these sporadic spree of fights, and as such, it just ends up being far too easy for Cabal to take a hold of that situation again. Again, it's you know, we're playing hard point. You can have maps where you just get outslayed, you get outbanged, but if that happens, your rotation's got to be spot on. And for Stallions, they'll look back on a couple of those hills and be a little bit disappointed with how they executed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of the stats here. I mean, Lurks, that's a tough stat line to look at. I mean, 20 and 39. It's almost impressive to have a 0.5 with still getting 20 kills. And then, you know, having 40 deaths, you're kind of just getting caught in that blender that's there. Really not able to kind of find, I think, the footing that you were looking for. And really nobody on the side of the Stallions having a good map. So I definitely echo a lot of your sentiments, which is, yes, if you're not winning the gunfights, at least play really good fundamental COD. It's how you can kind of bail yourself out a little bit by just better positioning and being able to kind of hold on down. But at this point, though, I feel like the Cabal were just doing a way better job of basically winning those ones, it looking great, but then they were doing a really good job of immediately converting those into setups that let them gain a lot of points on the hill. So some really good stuff coming out from Cabal there.
You had that P3, P4 in the second rotation, that P3 where over and over again, I mean, KB picks up another one of his 3 or 4 pieces, and it's just maintaining mid control, constantly has that mid set in hand, locking that down, making sure, okay, any intel that's needed, my teammates have it. Any terms of like situations where I need to just kill out, we've got that dealt with here, and does a really good job. But not only because that then makes P3 considerably easier to control, but that then reduces the amount of opportunities for your opponents to flanking through P4. If you know that 1 or 2 players of your opponents are fighting for the hill and you've just killed 1 or 2 in mid, you're not missing any bodies, and you're doing all that counting, you're checking everything, crossing all your T's, dotting all your I's. So I think like moments like that where you suddenly chain that P3, P4 together, that was our first bit of a cushion, and they never really relinquished that from there. So you are right, you end up with a situation where you get those spree of kills come on through and you turn that into some sort of advanced defensive setup, which then, even if you die, if you got one of those defensive setups where 1 or 2 of you are pushed so far out that you die early, you then get to spawn back in, you're still in a defensive hole. So it's Cabal not only slaying out, but showing a lot of how this should be played out. And I mean, I guess the only disappointment they have from that is the fact that they only walk away 50 points up.
Yeah, no, that's true.
By the way, welcome to the chat. Anyone who's...
I was looking for it. I was looking for it.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at, why does this player okay, hold on. Let me know. Let me know. Yes, let me know if we go into game, because you have it. But
yeah, we'll do.
Because I want to just show it on a bigger screen here.
Does he spawn in just before it? Like, because there's a player that touches the hill. Is it a millisecond before that? Because if it's a neutral hill, I guess
neutral hill P2 spot stops Cooties in hill.
No,
so it's
dude, Well, I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing.
I'm trying to look.
That is because I was like, oh, if it's a neutral hill, then maybe it's like, all right, well, no one's actually got a hold of it. But
it's like, why would he not spawn like back trucks? Why does he spawn down here?
Well, the thing is, even still, like number 3 is far enough back. We're going into game, by the way. Number 3 is far enough back that should never have happened. That just I don't know.
My god. Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, S&D.
Protocol. Search and destroy. Here we go. We'll break down a little bit of that more. It's just, we're all mind blown here. Do not worry. Major Maniac, though, might be able to make a read onto Wads here. Some great shots coming on through. Both players backing on up. Actually, okay, you back on up, but Wads makes the solid read here. So Major Maniac will go down off of that first blood. Illy trying to sit here, make sure nobody's coming down through. It's a nade that drops right on top of his head. We'll drop him down a little bit. Can you convert off of any of that damage? I don't know. It is just lethals and tacks coming on through. Okay, Wads flies on in, and it is just a flurry of blows here. Some trades going on through. Lurks will be the last one alive. Looks like they have an idea that you are Spiral. Lurks wins that. You managed to bring it on down, and the timing.
Yeah, I mean, you get that ninja well, I guess you can't really call it a ninja diffuse, but it's a diffusal.
A timing of the diffuse.
Yeah, it comes on through. I gotta say, Cabal made a lot of work of pulling off that, of eventually making that hit happen. They do, but I think that nade that comes down through Zip and lands straight on Illy is the difference maker. Forces Stallions to think there's a lot more pressure coming in that side, so they stack it, and that ends up being their undoing. But again, Cabal making a lot of work out of that.
KB playing on the downside here. Got some shoulders going on through. Ooh, I like that. They go ahead. They double hit the drop. But they will force KB back on up. But while that's happening, Cootie hasn't been able to make their way over towards the B side. So Bomb will go down. You got Manager Maniac holding in that backside here. But I like this full rotation that's about to come out.
What a grenade. What a throw from Illy. That changes the dynamic of everything. And honestly, you could hop this. You can defuse this. Rupert is so far away from this. So's KB. Do you have eyes on the bomb? You get one. You get it just in time. 1-1. Major Maniac Rooper.
Oh, wait, he knows exactly where Rooper is, though. But yeah, Rooper, you can just kind of play keep away right now. Yeah, cool. You get the kill. You're just going to stop the streak, but it doesn't matter. You still lose the round. One of those illy nades opens up the round. It looks good. You know this guy spends a ton of time on the map just trying to find those exact type of nade spots, and it works out. But unfortunately for them, they're so focused on Rooper being kind of backfilling that heli side, they're not even looking for the player pushing on up, who just barely rips the player off bomb.
Yeah, I mean, Rupert does an incredible job as well. Gets a few tags in, throws a shoulder, and just baits Illy into a fight that he then wins. So, great stuff. He also puts enough damage in on the player on bomb that allows his teammate to clear it up. 2 up if you're Cabal. I gotta go watch that throwback from Illy, though. Jesus.
All right, I like this. Stallion's finally getting a little bit aggressive down here on the bottom. They'll finally get some trades to go their way. It puts KB and Rooper into the 2v4, and it's just a lot of players down here, all turning their sights towards Big Door. Illy kind of makes a little bit of a hop up. KB hoping that maybe you can catch the rechow. Another shoulder getting thrown on out here. You know that the comms got to be coming on through. We can just chow this together if we want to. Time ticking right now for Cabal.
Yeah, you gotta go. Unfortunately, KB will try and slide, tries to force the issue, doesn't happen. Clean one then for the Stallions, all 4 up. I think it's actually a huge stun grenade that comes through at Big Door. You end up with this spot where Cabal try and flood it. They're trying to play for that A zone by just hitting Big Door out and chowing anything that drops down zip. Unfortunately, I'm not sure who throws it. It's Abe who actually gets into the fight first, so maybe it's him, but he pops a stun that lands directly in the middle of that doorway, and as such, catches 2 players trying to push in. They get cleaned up really easy, and from there, well, numbers disadvantage, bomb down. Not much that your ARs can do from outside. So Stallions seems to definitely have executable stun and frag nades that we've seen so far.
Yep.
Can it get them any more purchase in these rounds?
Oh, we're seeing it again. This 2-man hit down below. It's Lurks and Illy. They've done this a couple times. Rooper might have a nice little nade on the top. You do. KB will follow up with their own. So Lurks slides behind those screens, but is paid for it. Still no movement forward yet for Cabal. Not feeling super great just yet. Okay, still more information. You have to be careful here. You don't want any of these team shots as you are just trading blows. Illy laying on town.
Good shots.
Read like a book. Rooper finds you, including on the outside. You're going to see Major Maniac up towards Plat.
Well, 1v4, best of luck to you. Oh, you know, you get a bit of damage in, you bait one out. Read that like a book, and, well, it does make it 1v3. You got to be pretty perfect from here, though, and Cootie's just going to throw a shoulder. He's going to hit a little cross. Major Maniac, he's hoping for someone to step up on the desk, and, well, the timing's all against you. You're on a 3 spree. I wouldn't disagree if you decide to back off here. Never mind, 6 round. What I will say, I was wondering whether or not we'd end up in a situation where, because of the, you know, we've seen Illy with his set nade over towards Heli, we've seen that set stun coming in at Big Door. Okay, well, what that can do is force the other team to back off a little bit in the early exchanges because you're worried about getting caught up by those preset nades that have clearly been rehearsed. No such thing happens there. If anything, you flip the script a little bit. If you're Cabal, great nade comes out from KB. You're not holding back on your aggression at all there. And so I think the Stallions, a little bit caught out by it. And it's just one of those. You play protocol. If you get a hold of that A site, good luck retaking it.
Yeah, pretty tough to root players out once they've been able to find themselves down there in the depths of the computer area. We're already seeing some fast movement towards B, it looks like, this round. Lurks. Bomb in hand, just trying to clear all of this out if they can. Rooper, though, will play this back gun side. So we're going to go ahead, plant the bomb. Thankfully, you'll dodge some of these nades. Is A... okay, I don't know. Wads, I don't know if we're feeling ourselves that much yet. Tries to maybe go for the knife on the steps. KB is there for the inevitable trade. Illy finds Cootie in the top. Some shots coming back on through. Cabal, though, you gotta start making your way towards this bomb if you want, but it's KB in the 1v3. You hop on the bomb? No, still just flying around. Not gonna be enough, man. Stallion's kind of waking up here in the S&D. I don't think we're surprised when we look at some of the players that are on this roster that they're probably pretty good at S&D, but either way, I mean, Cabal looked really solid for those 3 rounds that got on the board, but the Stallions kind of running it these last couple.
Yeah, I mean, Stallions are doing a great job there as well with the change up in play, something that's going to continue to keep Cabal on their toes. They get that bomb on over towards B. But also, I'm a big fan of sticking a player, two players even, around middle. You end up in a situation where one's Grandma's, one's also lurking on over towards that bow side. And what that does, you're expecting Cabal to rotate from A up through Grandma's and push up through the middle. Gives you complete control of that. And oh, talk about set nades.
Yeah, that's a nice two-piece. Way to answer on back, but Illy with a huge kill onto KB. Will at least be able to answer it on back. So it's a 2v3. You make it a little bit easier for you. Not really playing together, though. See Illy on this outside. Trying to maybe make some moves here. There is a nade that will come on through. None of them connect, though. I kind of like this. Let Rupert play on that outside. If anybody slides on through, he'll be able to see that cross, and Wads just getting in the damage right now. They'll be forced to back on up. They don't have the time, though, Enigma. It's a 2-streak for Illy. I don't know if it's enough to warrant just kind of running away at this point in time, but great job playing your life. If you are Cabal, you bake them on in, you force them to make the moves, and, well, you cut them on down, give you the round win.
I mean, it all comes back to that set nades. We were talking about it. Stallions looked really good with their opening exchanges earlier on, but Cabal have answered back big time. And then it's all about patience and just lock down, make sure you got your crosses, you've got your angles, use that numbers advantage, but also the fact that you're basically defenders at that point. Cabal, every time Stallions answer with something, Cabal say we can up you. And they are doing a great job. But that bolt nade, that's something that's been around since the very first days of this map. And absolute perfect timing. Let's get you an opening two-piece.
Fast hits down to A. Stallions, they will gain control of this. Trophy systems get invested as well. Seawall's going to be the one to jump on it down. Major Maniac not letting you get that route. You have to assume that's going to be some great information. But Cabal kind of have two lives just getting thrown away immediately, putting Rupert and Cootie in the 2v4. And, I mean, Illy on this heady has just not been able to be ripped off. Jumping on up. Cutting the players down who are just going ahead and rechow the exact same spot. Stallions, they bring this one up 3-4. I don't know how to feel about this map here, brother.
I got to continue to handle a few flowers over to the Stallions. I think that they're continually changing up what it is that they're doing on their offensive rounds. There's now been 3 hits at A, 1 at B, but the fact that you throw in that B last time round keeps Cabal on their toes. They can't send everyone in to defend A, which means they've got to go over the numbers disadvantage. It allows Stallions to overwhelm those 2 players that are there. And it's one of those investments that even if it doesn't necessarily pay off in the round, it certainly will later on. We see it happen there.
Kind of trying to hold. Oh, Abe!
Wow.
Okay. Abe somehow making it out with his life. That was some Superman heroics to cut across there. Holy. And you can just see that. It's Cabal. That happens. Immediately try and hit that drop. Come on through. Ooh, okay. Nice little dolphin dive to get you on through, but you don't clear Heli. Major Maniac finds the bomb carrier, and you can look at this. The rest of the 3 members of Stallions, they're already coming on over here. They're trying to set on a bomb. Has been recovered. You got Cootie in Heli. I don't think you managed to nab that grenade that's there. But still just trying to play alongside here. A little bit too split for my liking for Cabal. And it looks like maybe a little bit of a wrap back. Lurks has this idea that it might be coming back towards A, but Rupert will go ahead and initiate the plant.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got an important gunfight going on over at Grandma's. Lurks finds KB. So this is going to pinch Cabal now into a situation that they don't want to be. And you can see that you're turning, you're wanting to clear that out, make sure you're not getting flanked. Rupert can't help. Cootie just has to pay attention to the front. And Abe has slipped on through, and that is the punish for that.
Okay.
Rupert, though, answers 1-1.
Oh,
instantly there. I guess I got to go back to that play by Abe. Sorry, Lurks. Over in Grandma's, the fact that you get up there, clear that out, just means that the Cabal heads are constantly turning, twisting. You're not sure which side you're going to get hit from. You've no back wall to put yourself against. And as such, you end up in a situation where Abe slips on through and finds an important kill. Great effort from both teams so far. This felt like a fantastic S&D. But moments like that, just flanking, setting yourself up an opportunity to pinch or attack from a different side. Again, just continually keeping Cabal on their toes.
Ties it on up, 4-4. This is exactly the type of map you like to see if you are the Stallions. You lose that hard point, some not great stat lines. Tie this one back on up, 1-1.
No.
But, yeah, I mean, I think everybody's getting a little bit too spicy with these nades. Wads getting taken out by KB, the teammate. So we'll make this a 4v3. Abe going for a fast bomb plant here at B, but do you get the bomb down? You do. So that is huge, but Cootie at least is able to answer on up. And, well, Lurks, you have to be careful. A little bit of a fadeaway. You get this read. Rooper's here. You find him. Illy from the top brings down KB. It's just Cootie in the 1v3. Bomb is down. You don't win the fight. Stallions, they're on the map point.
Team kills are tough to see. Might well take the wind out of the sails of Cabal. If it didn't, then 3 round wins in a row for Stallions is going to put the wind in their sails instead. Right now, feels like that the momentum has indeed shifted. And it's what the Stallions needed. You mentioned that they lose map 1. It wasn't pretty. The score is honestly probably nicer than it should have been. So, Stallions needed to come out here and lay down a real marker. It started slow, but they have been rewarded in the later phases of this match for some creative strategies on their offenses. But now a defense to potentially see it out. And Illy's on a 4.
Love to see Illy stay alive here. KB will find Major Maniac. Couple of fights heading on in here in the computers. You finally bring down Cootie. The pistol is not enough. Can Illy manage to make this happen? No, you got to retreat back up towards the spiral. Just like that, it's Illy into a 1v3. Bomb will be going down there at A. You've slowly but surely made your way back on over towards drop. Do they make this read? None of the arrows are turned there. KB thinks maybe heard something, some sort of sound cue. And they know you're there, Illy. You're not going to have a lot of opportunity to make something happen here. Try to play along
one nade.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this should be not going anywhere except for a round 11. One of those moments, just lose the gunfights in that bottom zone. And honestly, it's tough sometimes playing in and around this A site. I admire the way that Illy tries to retake it. Try and change up the angles, the nade drop through the middle. I thought they got patched a long time ago, but maybe I am absolutely faded. But either way, it won't matter. We go to a round 11. So for all the momentum, for all the sprees, the effort, the glory, because of Cabal's great start, they will push us to the late stage of an S&D. And it looks like, well, surprise, surprise, we're back to a big A hit.
Big A hit. Trophies go on down. We'll stop some of those, and you line on up. Some trades come on through. KB cuts down A, but Illy is there to help support back on up, and Lurks here. Yet again, just doing a great job. That's a great nade if it manages to hit, and you actually find Wads with that Semtex. So Cabal, not even really off of being able to make a play here. Sure, you found A, but you'll lose 2 members in the process. It's going to be all up to Cootie and Rooper here. Cootie's going to be the one. Goes ahead, plant B. If you could find one on transition here, this would be huge. Bomb will go down. Cootie trying to clear out this backside. You have an opportunity to maybe find Major Maniac here. Slowly but surely crawling on through. You find him, Jackal in hand. That's a huge kill. Evens this on up into the 2v2. But are you ready and waiting for the other 2? No, you're not. Lurks cuts down Cootie, but Rooper is here. Time is ticking. You're going to be able to have sights on Bomb. And yeah, I think you just wait. Play for time. Pop on up. Try and check Bomb.
You step up. You get spotted. Illy's just going to try and throw a shoulder for a second. Lurks is found. Illy is there. Deleted by Rooper, who goes massive to clutch things up. I was a little bit worried it had taken him too long to reposition. And with that, you've no intel on the bomb. But how's your nerve? Do you believe, without a shadow of a doubt, in your soul, that this other team have not dove the bomb? Well, he holds true to his faith and then steps up and shreds his 2 opponents. Beautiful work. And honestly, with the way it all went, around 11 clutch in a 1v2, that is what we deserve for that S&D.
That's a little shimmy. That's what that was. Il Rooper is doing a little dance. He doing a little dance, close out the round 11. Oh my god. I mean, when he got the first one, I was like, okay, cool. Like that's actually all he had to do. He could have just gone prone again, popped up at like 5 seconds if he really wanted to. Probably would have been good. No, it says, sup, Illy. I'm going for the ego chow, baby. Absolutely rips him. That is insane. So if you are Cabal, that's a huge win to be able to have, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
By all intents and purposes, that kind of felt like that they were going to lose that map. I think we really felt the Stallions coming alive, had a lot of the momentum. We're pushing on forward. We're looking fantastic. But then you can push it all the way to around 11, and you're able to take that in. We're now on series point here. Moving on into the control, I mean, Stallions got to be feeling a little defeated.
100%. I think that you're right. You know, Cabal come out strong. They go up 4-1, if I remember correctly. And then Stallions pull off 4 rounds back to back to put themselves one away. And you did feel like, okay, you've taken the wind out of your opponent's sails a bit. You're looking real good here. But then you end up with a situation where you give up those 2 rounds. And the way in which it's done as well, 1v2. You know, I was a little bit worried that you'd ended up in a situation where Cabal over-invested into planting a day. You know, they go into the early engagements, they 1-to-1 trades, and then they stick around for so long that I was a little bit worried you'd given up the ghost. You then also lose quite a bit of rotation, potentially rotating. But they pull it off, despite one of their teammates getting stuck and down to 2v3. They get on over, get bombed down, but great work to catch Major Maniac wrapping around, but Rupert was so long there getting across the map. It's just a case of, all right, well, do you believe that you've played this correctly? It takes a lot to hold your faith sometimes in these moments, and you're against 2 ex-champions of the Pro League. Like he does a phenomenal job. So yeah, wonderful work from him. Yeah, I mean, I can see you got the stats board up here, bud, and I tracked it. And I tell you what, the first blood count, absolutely back and forth between the 2 teams.
Yes.
What I will say as well, by the way, one of those first bloods is actually a team kill. So
let's subtract one from Wads.
I'm pretty sure I actually went 6-5 to Stallions. So it's insane that the scoreboard tracks it as a first blood on the teammate. That's wild. That's actually brutal.
You know, it's fine. I think what's crazier though is just like look at some of these stat lines. I mean, you got Illy and Lurks both with a 2.0 for the L. Like that, like Illy had 1,800 damage pretty much. Like I don't know what more he could do, right? I mean, you just kind of looking at maybe like Abe with the 5 and 9. It's only 600 damage. Like would have loved to see a little bit more coming out of him probably, you know, but did have 4 bomb plants. So obviously a little bit more of the objective player, you know, understandable there, but
difficult situation for sure.
Yes, no, absolutely. But, you know, and even on the side for Cabal, like Rupert's the only person positive on that team at 10 and 8 right now, right? 1,800 damage, looking great, like just barely edging Illy out as far as it goes for the lobby. Has 2 bombs playing to themselves, but interesting there for Rupert as well. No first bloods, no first deaths. Just ice in the veins was usually the last one alive.
Yeah.
A really good job of being able to get there. So Cabal, even though they maybe lose, you know, some of those early engagements, they have to play from behind a lot. People dying in a lot of rounds, they still managed to clutch on it out. And I think that's like really kind of cool. I feel like what we're seeing with a lot of Cabal, it's a lot of fundamental COD coming out from these guys, right? We saw it in the hard point where not only are they slaying up, and then they're able to convert it into their setups. We're seeing it here in the search and destroy, or even while playing from behind, or maybe getting, you know, blooded a lot, or they're not really being able to make some trades. They're still managed to just barely squeeze it on out in around 11. Absolutely insane. Coming out from Cabal, which I'm curious to see, do they stick to those fundamentals when we move to the control?
One of the things as well that we can take away from that scoreboard, if we look at who is getting the first bloods on Cabal, right? It is KB and it is Kuti majoritively. So 3 first bloods for KB, 5 non-traded kills. Important. Kuti, 2 first bloods, 5 non-traded kills. Keep those in mind. Because when we look over at the Stallions, the majority of the first bloods coming from Abe and Major Maniac, they only managed 2 and 3 non-traded kills between them, which means you are getting those first bloods. Yes, scoreboards never fully sum up a scenario, but quite often you're then dying in any sort of situation where you're picking up a kill. So that advantage that is gained just doesn't really exist because you basically end up in a situation where you're being instantly traded out. So again, that is, you know, taking a brief look over scoreboard. There's always somebody who turns around and goes, that's not exactly what happened. But, you know, the scoreboard telling us here the work of like your people who are getting involved in the early engagements are not doing enough to then get that kill and get away with their life, whether that be in that first blood engagement or later on in the round.
Chad, I just want you to know that anytime he sees your comments in our chat, that's what he imagines you sound like. I just want to.
That's actually my Dandro impression for when he's having a moan at me about our rotations.
Wow.
On Verdansk, so.
Wow, woo wee woo. Okay, anyway, enough of that. Getting ready. Let's talk about this control. Vault control. I thought we got rid of this thing. I really.
Vault control? You thinking of Vault S&D?
I am. I just saw Vault got removed at one point, and I was so electric. I was like, I never want to watch this map again. And yet again, here we are. Vault control coming on through.
It's a weird map. I really like it as a hardpoint map. I think it's a superb hardpoint map. I'm glad it's gone from S&D. Like, unfortunately, there was just it was one strategy, which we never want to see. Control, it's all right. It's okay.
I'm okay. If we wanted to keep it a hardpoint map, I was telling about this. Somebody said, I think every COD, I'm okay from here on out. We have one bang out map, like one bang out hardpoint map, right? Like, you know, you think about a Rage in the Cage, right? We have Bocage. Mercado was a little bit like that, right? Last year we had Rio, kind of this more like close quarters, right? Sort of map that's really just like, there's no strategy to it. It's just who wins their gunfights and then gets on point, right? It's like realistically what it comes down to. That's a lot of the time what Vault feels like. But we also have Skyline hardpoint at the same time, which also fulfills that. So like, I'm going to make the case. I'm cool if we never play Skyline hardpoint again and only play Vault. So yes, we are in game. Let's get ready. It's Vault control. Enough of my musings of why I don't want to see this map anymore.
I'm going to take everything that you just said and say that I cannot, as a 31-year-old father of one, ever play Skyline. It drives me crazy. Wads, by the way, has found himself all the way. I was about to say, yeah, unfortunately, you step on the points, you give yourself up. But yeah, you almost get an instant like play in through the back there. Stallions do enough to clear. They get the opening exchanges entirely, actually, so they'll get to bully Cabal back and set themselves up where they want to be. And Abe has a lot of work to do, but that kill will make that a bit easier.
2 more. That's what you like to see. KB finally getting on the board is actually the only player to find some eliminations here, but Stallions doing a great job with a couple of those early kills. Hold you on back into the spawn. You will finally get found out gold, so that's great. But now you got to start flying towards the hill. As Illy finds a 1 and somehow is able to back on up here with his life. Do you hit the wrap to bring them off the point? Some great first shots there. You weaken them on up. You find another one. Immediately turn your sides through. This is the Illy we know and love. This is the Illy I was waiting to see. Some phenomenal plays here coming out of Ender as he's able to just put them immediately back into the spawn and just play such a weird angle here.
Okay,
Finally loses one, but oh my God.
I mean, it took some magical work and some potentially VAR-able work from Rupert Skywalker to come on through there to shut Illy down, because that guy was tearing it up. You're now 6. Oh my God. Lurk says, anything you can do, I can do better, chap. And puts up 3 on the board. Rupert's going to have to try and pull off magic over at B. Does not do that. So, Cabal, you're trying to come out of your spawn. You're down 9 lives. You have 10 seconds to touch. You get to play over at B. Great idea. It will move a couple players away, but you have to stay up.
Yeah, you move a couple. Yeah, I say this is what I was worried about. You move a couple players to way. Like, this play works if the rest of you hit A, but they continue to try and backflood B here. So you do get 2 ticks at A. You just barely don't have 1 tick at B, but you'll be able to stack the point here. Abe is just kind of trying to be able to play his life, play around. 6 and 3 right now. Some great shots will come on through. Major Maniac is good for 2. And well, okay, Stallions maybe feeling a little bit heated after that search and destroy. Coming back on in, swinging in the first round of control. Now listen, we know this is a defensive sided map. You put people into a spawn trap, no surprises here.
Yes.
But that looked dominant. That looked like a different pace.
It's definitely a defensive-sided map in the sense of the rounds that you win, but you're still expected to walk away with at least 3 ticks here. You're still expected to seize that 8 point. So the fact that you get nothing and Kuti gets a donut for the round is insane. Like Stallions just leeching off the energy that Illy drags through into them, absolutely refusing to be eliminated like this, wants to make playoffs.
8 and 3,
Oh,
8 and
okay.
4 for Ilian Lurks. And yeah, fast movements over to B. Looks like Cabal haven't been able to read this just yet. You're starting to see some of that time come on through as well. You come a little bit of nade trade going on through is okay. Who can manage to win out this one? You still got 3 members of Cabal nearby here. If you are Major Maniac, you got a nade dropping on top of Rupert. Do you manage to get that car explode? You do, but it won't result in a kill. Couple of shoulders coming on out here, and Rupert, the patience pays you in dividends as you're able to cut down Major Maniac, but you want to hold this point right now if you are Cabal, and they're doing a great job of making that happen. Wads with a good 2-piece will make sure they do not gain any types here, but Abe has been able to lurk on through the back, holding this top cat side. Wants to fly on forward.
Yeah, first real misplay of this map from Stallions. They just continue to invest at B over and over and over again, thinking that maybe they can bully Cabal off it. But as such, they never touch A. They are starting to see that progress come through now, so they won't care too much. And to be fair, it's probably a play made off the back of their dominance in round 1. But you don't want to let an opportunity like this slip through your fingers. And as the second tick comes on through, Major Man's going to have to check back to clear off for progress on the third, and he will fall. But teammates arrive in numbers. Oh, but Goody.
Ooh.
Well, I was about to say he has magic shoes, but Sea-Watch just absolutely deleted him.
He's got magnetic shoes is what he has. It's the second team kill we've seen come out of Wads there with a nade, but we are coming down to the final moments. This would be a huge moment for Rupert to rip them off the point. Can you manage to hold this one on down through? You find one, you find two. Cootie
Okay.
find some great ones, and I like this. Wads immediately trying to make their way onto the point. You're starting to help clear it on out. It was looking like a solid A capture for the Stallions, but Wads goes huge for a couple of those kills. We'll cut them on down, and well, you only got 10 seconds left here.
Patience. When do you activate? Well, KB finds Abe first, so Stallions are going to have to activate with a numbers disadvantage. Everyone dies in the feed, and well, simple as you like in the end, but it will be 2 ticks, of course, to the Stallions. That puts them in a better position than Cabal. Offense is really struggling right now. I go back to the play that Stallions called there. They get themselves on over to B off of a very different opening strategy where they all drop through mid and head straight on through. But they continue to overly invest and invest and invest. And all 4 players are basically barreling down Main Street, bottlenecking themselves into a situation where they then lose out the gunfights. I think if you have a player step on A through that and you're a bit more patient about your approach to B, you force Cabal to make a decision about pushing out towards A. They never ask those questions. They do eventually get it 2 ticks, so they'll be happy enough walking away in the lead there. But a case of what could have been for the Stallions.
Absolutely. Felt like a last-ditch effort there at the final moments rather than maybe some sort of concerted movement by the team to just get that A point done and be able to move on over to B. But to come on over here, KB, okay, we'll be able to find 2. So you find yourself some great kills. You start stacking on top of the A. You get at least 1 tick here. 3 members of the Stallions. KB with a nice little shoulder throw will be able to get confirmation there, and from the side it's Wads for 2. Can you make it 3? Lurks around the corner, but thankfully Cootie is there for the trade. You're going to be able to potentially cut down this A point, and look at this. KB found yourselves an art. You swing on up the back, you get a read that there are 2 players here. You find the player behind you. I don't know if you do, but it's a little bit of do-si-do, just taking all of the time for them to come find you out. Unfortunately, the rest of your team does fall, but it's at least 2 ticks.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Illy just went absolutely massive to stop that A point falling. Finds a sweep of kills, but also just gives his teammates time to arrive and draw a forward cordon that bullies Cabal back. Otherwise, that's 3 ticks coming on through. A hell of a life advantage. And you still had Stallions trying to dig KB out of their spawn, so fantastic work from the man who is refusing to die, and Major Maniac finds 3 in the feed as well. Cabal sent packing. Lives now even up. Feels that momentum back in the hands of the Stallions. An important moment too, because Cabal have evened up in ticks.
Stallions doing a great job of at least not letting Cabal gain any of this momentum. So close has it come to finishing that A point a number of times for Cabal, but the Stallions will just not let them finish it. Especially when you're hitting wraps like this, you are doing a great job of making sure they have no opportunity to grab some of these power positions. Illy onto the side here, not able to at least find the player that jumps out Cap, but you get the damage in where you need to, and well, okay, wait, that's a couple dead. You have some members from Cabal flying up forward. 20 seconds on the clock. They'll be able to secure A, so that's another minute added on through. You are down only 1 life here. Make that 2. Already, still some signs of life from Cabal. We only have a minute left here on the clock. You're getting kind of cut on down left and right as Illy with a nade will find 2 thanks to that car exploding. You have to start working this if you are Cabal together.
You probably want to activate quite soon. You have that numbers advantage only briefly. Once finds 1. Shut down 6 to 9 then. So you're up by 3, or down by 3, sorry, if you're a Cabal right now. The Cootie, big gunfight here. You need this mid-map control, going to be ever important to allowing you a route out that doesn't involve just hitting the front door. And Lurks, while he takes control of this yet again, doing a great job. Seawads isn't aware that he's about to hit from 2 players. Did they see him? What? None of them saw him.
Wow. Well, finally somebody does. That's 2 more dead in the feed. Stallions trying to close this one on out. You'll at least rip the player off the B point. Go ahead, clear that. Eliminate all of that progress. It comes down to the last final few moments here. It's just not enough. The Stallions, they managed to keep it cool. They managed to keep it under control when Cabal are able to find some kills. They get onto the A point. They secure it. Stallions, they don't let it falter them. It's some great plays. They really just controlled a lot of this mid through the back half of that round. And they're able just to win off of lives alone. Looking really, really good here as we get ready to move deeper on into this control.
Stallions showing a great amount of resiliency there. Just when it felt like Cabal had gained serious momentum through the map, they lock it on down, going back to Illy, who has been only 17-16 on the board, but his moments have been super impactful. And Lurks locking down mid has been a huge part of the defensive stay. But what do you have on the offensive front here? You are down by 1 tick. You would surely expect that to come on through, but in round 1, Stallions stopped Cabal getting anything, so they'll be made to work for it.
Cootie finds Major Maniac out on the outside, trying to find their way into Art there. So that will be a huge pickup. Wads at the top, though. Thankfully, your nade connects onto Lurks as Abe trades you on out. Probably the best case scenario you could ask for in that opportunity is Cootie still just trying to cut down some of these members from the Stallions coming off the spawn. And where Cootie drops, Rooper is there to pick up the slack. As you find 1, you find a nice second onto Major Maniac. You will eventually get found by Abe, but that's probably okay. The rest of your team still on this inside as well. It's about 5 kill lead for you. 22 will play 18 in the final 20 seconds of the round.
You have to send here if you're Stallions. You need a tick. Otherwise, you are playing offense. And we've seen how much these teams have struggled so far offensively. Big kill for Lurks. You finally get some sort of mid-map presence to try and let your teammates arrive. But KB is here for 2. And Rupert activates elsewhere. 1 last hit for the Stallions with barely any time to touch.
Oh my God. That is just one of those line them up, knock them down moments. A huge 2-piece that you need. And it's just, wow, Cabal. They were looking a little shaky there in those last couple rounds, and I can't lie, but they answer on back and say, hey guys, we're here. Have fun. You got to be on offense for final round of control. Potential for Stallions to get 3-0'd right now. I don't think any of us would have nearly expected this.
No, absolutely not. I mean, looking at permutations all day, we are in a situation where, Challengers Intel have been tweeting out that Stallions reverse sweep, then that changes everything for 5 Fears, who would then qualify. If they don't, then they don't qualify. So, there's a lot of teams currently paying attention to this series and everything that goes about it. Cabal GGs have just locked in and ensuring that they creep ever closer to the line.
Well, this is the time to do it. Nice 2-piece. Make that 4 dead in the feed, actually.
You can transition.
Before we can even get the breath out. And yeah, I like that. Abe already here in tradition towards our Wadso will be able to make that read. So it's at least one way to make this happen. Lurks is here. I think if you are Cabal, you say, listen, we're okay giving up A. We understand that it puts 2:20 on the clock, but we're willing to hold this B side if we can. But Abe,
big kill.
Yeah, cuts down Rooper on that route on the back side. You can just see it's all spawning in the front for Cabal.
Lurks helps with the first, finishes off the second, backs down the third. Incredible work, and finds the 4th. Jesus, what a spree from Lurks. Illy then to support this push as the teammates try and touch. They are on B. You got a minute 56 and you're up by 5 lives. If anything, for a moment, you can afford to take a breather. Trophy not going to be there to help out Illy. He falls. Capture progress coming in, though. So that's another tick, and Abe has the right idea. That's a big gunfight from Wads.
Yeah, that's a huge fight from Wads. But Major Maniac on the backside will be able to answer back onto KB. But still, you kill the player who was a problem. You send 3 on their way back through the spawn. And I like this. You got Wads down in that safe area, watching to make sure nobody can push through water. Trying to get some shots out here towards the Lion. Major Maniac will make his presence known, but KB on the statue side just not letting anybody really push on through. But 2 players dead for Cabal. Major Maniac slides on out, finds KB on his belly. A nade will drop on into the top, but already this third tick, it's coming on through. It's there. Can anything happen from Cabal? It is starting to get tested. Illy gets ripped on off and by the skin of their teeth. Cabal, hold on. You're still down 3 kills though, Enigma, but you do the important part, and that's clear off the tick.
You've also got to keep an eye on your flank because you will have Major Maniac with P4 control. Lurks is going to be pushed all the way up to Lion. Your teammates are dying elsewhere. It's an important kill for Cootie, but one was also starting to look out of water doorway. So Rupert's going to have to wrap back here. He's going to have to be quick about it because Illy will shoot him otherwise. Finds one, and teammate will back down Abe with the damage, but Abe is close enough to be able to contest this.
They got to slide forward. Those are huge kills. It's only the last final moments here, and you're not going to be able to do it. Stallions in round 5 on offense. They ice on up. They bring it here. They say, no, we're not getting 3-0'd here today. That is not happening with the stakes that we have on the line. They're going to push us to a map number 4.
We're going to get a look at the scoreboard here, and I think there's so many different storylines that kind of wade in and out of this. First of all, Cootie was 16 assists. Jesus. Okay, 3.5k damage for 23 kills. Feels like one of my Warzone games. But we're going to talk about quite a few of the players that, you know, did things through that map. But I think someone I want to kind of like hand the crown to a little bit, Abe. I feel like in that round 5 there, that's easily one of those moments where you can come out, you know, you lose the second map in round 11 fashion, map 1 just didn't go your way. You could easily walk into that round 5, you know, all the wind taken out of your sails. You kind of just hitting relatively dead plays. Come out 4 in the feed. And I said, you know, there was a moment there where you can transition. And Abe just immediately heads over. He gets off that point, sprints over towards bottom R. It then just makes himself a bit of a nuisance. It's not for an extremely long amount of time, but it instantly forces Cabal to reassess. They have to back off. They can't put as many resources into A. But also, there was a moment where, if I remember correctly, it was KB. No, Wads. He was down in water. So he comes out, makes that play, gets that kill, and then just waits a very long time. It's a patient play from Wads. He's doing all the right things to kind of straw that defensive line there, play that info game. And then Abe recognizes how important that water doorway is to their team's push, and he goes and plays for the clear out. Does a fantastic job constantly of just wrapping in and out. If you go and watch the minimap, he spent such a long time looping around the map to try and find routes in for kills and allowed his team to come on through there in round 5. So a lot of players to talk about, but him, that's the guy I'm looking at and saying, you're the reason your team are in map 4.
I mean, hey, 29 and 24, that's a great way to have it. Lurks with the 32 and 24, a really good stat line coming out from them as well, almost close to that 1.5 that we love to see. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it just comes down to the offense kills, right, from the Stallions. I mean, obviously they had one more round of offense, that makes sense, but either way, I mean, it's just 14, 12, and 15. When you look on the side of Cabal, it was just 7 and 9, right? I mean, when we're kind of looking at Cootie and Wads, just feels like they weren't able to make nearly as much happen on the offense as they needed to. But it's just kind of really interesting when you kind of take a look at some of these stats across the board, you know, but 16 assists from Cootie is a little bit wild. But also some of these non-tradeds as well. I mean, 23 out of 32 from Lurks being non-traded with a 3,500 damage. That's a really good stat line to be able to have, especially when you're kind of looking at what is the type of impact you have. Lurks a lot of those times is that player who was able to find a 1 or 2 piece and then be able to back on out and then re-engage from a different position that was there. On the other side, Rupert, as consistent with this series, only person going positive for Cabal with the 27 and 26, so just barely over the 1.0. So some great stuff there. But that's Vault Control done and dusted. We only have one map. We only have one map for the last 2 maps of the series. We're staking on Hacienda for both the hardpoint and the search and destroy, which I feel like is going to be really interesting because obviously Stallions, if they come out here and fry on a Hacienda hardpoint, kind of tells me Enigma they know how to play this map, bodes well for the Hacienda search and destroy.
I think one of the things that we have seen, and we saw this in map 1, was that, you know, Cabal, they are very much so, they were anyway performing better when it came to the fundamental side of things. You know, a lot of great setups. You're talking your P2, your P4. They did a great job on that vault of making sure they're in there, even if COD spawns kind of put players in places that they shouldn't have been. But one of the things it feels like through the last 2 maps, Stallions have really come online, not just in the slaying department, but also, you know, we talked a lot about the set nades that came out of them in that map 2. And then we talked about the way in which, you know, again, going back to what Abe did there in that final game of map 3, just early transitions, taking apart, you know, taking a control, of really important choke points on the map. So feels like momentum well and truly back with the Stallions now. It's all about coming off with a big break here. You cannot afford to come out slow and give this Cabal team an opportunity to believe that they just have your number when it comes to hard point. The Cabal have got to instantly feel that pressure, feel that they're under the foot a little bit, and the only way you do that is by coming out, putting up a great P1, rotating in early for that Lambo side, and locking it on down. Reminding Cabal that this could go a game 5. We could be talking a reverse sweep. We could be talking about a very different squad qualifying for playoffs.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line here. I mean, Stallions coming out with the reverse sweep would be crazy. Just want to give a little bit of reminders. We get ready to hop on into this map 4. If you are enjoying the cast, if you're enjoying the content here, make sure you drop a subscribe. That would make us feel really good. If we get to 100, we get to actually name our channel. That would make us really happy if we make that happen. But enough of the self-shilling. Let's talk about the gameplay, because that's what we're all here for. That is way more important and way more exciting. P2 off of the break here. You can see you got a couple players already making their way towards this top side as Wads. Patience on the stairs. We'll be able to cut on down, but it's going to be a couple of trades here. KB, not going to let this fully go into the way of the Stallions, as Lurks has made his way through the top, and you already got a player making their way out through Lambo. You're trying to fight for some of these spawns, and this is the ever importance here off of this P1.
Yeah, important moment there. As well as Cootie spawns up. He's the one who lost that fight north side of the map over by Rock. He spawns up and starts to track on over, but gets a call out that the player that killed him died, so he rotates back. Major Maniac here then on the early rotation. Gets baited by the doorway. Teammate's trying to arrive, but he's going to have KB to fight for spawns with. But look at where Cootie could go here. Oh no, I was hoping that he'd try to hit some sort of pinch, but he's just going to join his teammates through the back.
You're going to hold these ramp side spawns. That's a great way. And oh my God, it's 3 dead for the Stallions. Opportunity for Cabal to get onto the point, invest some of these trophies, start rooting yourself on in. You do have Major Maniac trying to go for a flank here, as KB obviously making this read will cut you on down. The stun does connect. Abe finds a huge kill onto Cootie in the cut. As Wads flies on forward, you find one, you get out with your life. The pre-fires come on through, and well, you let the teammates clean them on up. And as that happens, the spawns do flip. So KB turns your sights around. You have to try and cut them down on this push.
Cabal here, happy to hold this from the front. And this will, of course, give them the better rotation on over to 3. Actually, you're going to get a spawn out for Abe. Not sure if anyone's going to read this. KB suspects something, but it's not going to come. Abe has decided to back on off, try and get his teams in for 3. They're going to continue spawning at 2, though, and they're just lining up. Rupert finds 2. Wads is on 6 in a row. He's began his transition across the map. So Stallions, if you're Abe, if you're Major Maniac, you're hoping for numbers to arrive, but it's going to take them a minute.
Wads playing up towards the window, trying to be able to find some of these players on transition. Is Cootie doing a great job just maybe getting any of this wall bang, as it's Rupert for 2. That'll keep Cootie alive. This is huge. Where does that nade land? It's got to be on top. It lurks. Gotta find somebody out towards this plat. There's a good one. Can you find the second? No, you don't, because you watch the wrap come on through, and well, you kind of forget that that player was going in that direction, but it's Major Maniac on point, trying to do their best to bring these players down. But so far, Cabal have looked flawless in this hard point.
Yeah, sometimes it comes down to the tactical side of the game. Sometimes it just comes down to winning your gunfights. The difference right now is insane. Up by around about 14 across 3 players. So that's, and quite frankly, incredible. Sorry, going to be more than that. 14 as a team.
Stop doing math.
Incredible performance. I mean, I think I'm right, so shut up. Abe, going to be trying to keep a hold of offices. That's a gunfight you're not really going to win with a Jackal. So he's just going to have to shoulder, spend some time there. Major Maniac trying to hold the backside. I like what Cabal are doing here, though. They're trying to set up a pinch.
And it seems like it's working.
Hellstorm's going to help you with that situation.
Ooh, Wads with a 2-piece. Alien Major Maniac getting taken out by the missile, the death from above. So a great rotation. I was about to just hype up the Stallions for their ability to hold this P4. This would have been a fantastic hill to put them back on into the game, but it's a break that comes on through from Cabal off of that Hellstorm from Waz. That will then open it up. It's going to let KB to push on forward here towards that top lobby area, and it lets Seawalls continue to just be a nuisance down here at the bottom, and Rupert making some of these reads, pistol in hand. You're not going to be able to find it, but it's only a couple seconds left on this P4 until you spawn on up. So the Stallions for now will have spawns for this P2 that they want to go ahead and keep, but it's 3 members moving from Cabal on through the map.
Oh, Abe does well there. Gets a little bit blessed about the fact that KB runs out in front of him, but other than that, locks in for 2. The thing is, it doesn't buy his team much because KB activates from the other side. And Stallions then trying to find a way to get some sort of control over this courtyard. Looks with one right now. Major Maniac, and it's just a pinstripe feed. And, well, you will end up with a situation where Stallions take the hill. You get a flip spawn for Cabal, so they will be in for 2. And if you can hold out from this side, lock in for another great P2, well, this gap that is already 100 points may start to become unattainable.
Yeah, and I like this. You see a couple of these players push on forward, and it's KB who's already making his way out towards the ramp. But 2 players from Stallions, they've made this read. They'll be able to find KB. So you manage to hold on to these spawns for now. A little bit of scrap time going towards the side of Cabal. It's going to be Rupert just in the point, going for the super soak right here. As you got a couple members on this fence side out towards the well, Cootie and KB. They cut down Abe, so they're going to start making their way through this backside. Can you hold this spawn on in? Abe actually spawns up here on this backside. We'll let you hold this on through, but I don't know if this read has come on in. No, you get cut on down, and it's going to be a full spawn out here on the ramp side.
Illy's got all the work to do here as he's joined by 2, and fantastic work. It's the exact same as Cabal did last time. Stack driveway, hit all the bodies through together, basically bait and switch, and overwhelm Stallions on the point. Last time they held it then from the front. They were more than happy to let Stallions take that driveway side, and I think that that's what they're planning on doing again, handing it on over, as you do with the red card P2. Halfway through, you give up the opposite side spawns and begin your rotation early, and that's what Cabal is trying to make happen, and they will be delighted to see players spawning up.
Rupert.
The one thing I will say,
Yeah,
Major and Illy have spawned in at least.
That is true. They have spawned in. That's what you want to see. But, oh, dude, Rupert on the backside there. Good for 2. Holds down the players in the cut and immediately 180s. Finds the player off spawn on ramp. But it's a flurry of blows, though, that will kind of put them on the back foot. So you've managed to get on into the point if you are the Stallions for now. How's Cabal going to go ahead? Cut this one on up. It's KB through the backside. Some great shots. You'll be able to find Illy. Cootie not being able to get on taken out. Wads has been able to drop on through. You're going to be able to have this contest go on in. So you've burned some of this time, not letting them get this soak as much as they would normally have liked. Cootie's been able to hang out here on top of this plat, and you're getting some of these close spawns. If you are Cabal, everybody just full sprinting at the point right now. Cootie, can you answer into some of these wall bangs? Doesn't look like it just yet, but you're doing a fantastic job of just not letting them take time here. And I feel like that's probably what you're feeling great about if you are Cabal, because you've wasted so much time and you're already finding yourself a P4.
Yeah, rotation is on, by the way. KB against Major Maniac is an important fight. Major Maniac comes out on top. Cootie's here, though, for 1. Cootie for 2. What a moment to explode. You will have company soon from Illy, but Cootie is lying in wait. Will eventually be found, but you do have numbers arriving. Rupert through the mid. Rupert for 2. Abe's going to answer with 2.
Ooh.
Abe! Absolutely pops off, puts himself on a killing spree of 5, and takes a hold of P4 on a hill that could well see them through to playoffs.
I mean, that is just the play of this series so far, but it's back with a vengeance. The Stallions, they're not going to let that be the play that puts them away. Not just yet. It's still a long road ahead to victory. But if you play perfectly from here on out, you can manage to make it on happen. The trades come on through. Cootie tries to make it happen. Abe is good for 2 on the backside. Cootie finds 1. Cootie finds 2. Cootie finds 3. Okay. Cabal absolutely going nuclear on this P4. You said it early, Enigma. It's one thing to play fundamental COD, but sometimes it's just about winning your ones, as KB almost blesses us with another 3-piece.
This has been a domination. Nothing less. As KB finds another 2.
Dog!
Good lord. Cabal, king of multi-kills. bully the Stallions out of Hacienda, out of the lobby, out of the map, out of playoff contention, I believe. Cabal, GG's. I mean, after map 3, we said Stallions had managed to get a hold of some sort of momentum in the series. Well, Cabal said, we don't care about any of that. Not a chance in hell. We are pushing our ticket. I'm going to get a good look at the scoreboard here, bud. And this is going to make grim reading for your Stallions fan. But if you are that Cabal GG's roster, wow. 26-11, 25-11. Some individual performances to truly write home about, and I can see the look on your face. Don't worry. I think there's a lot of people doing the exact same damn thing.
I know that there's a big nose man somewhere saying Marron, looking at that scoreboard. Oh my God. Dude, that was insane. That was not at all what I think we were expecting. How many 2 pieces and 3 pieces did we watch happen there?
Well, this is one of the things, like, I can sit here and talk, you know, we could go back and forth for some time about the tactical side of things. For example, Cabal definitely have a way they like to play out P2, and it is beautiful. They stack up lobby side, they hit driveway together as a foursome and overwhelm that region and do a great job of taking a hold of that. But what they like to then do, push a couple players rock side to flip that spawn out and put your opposing team in for that driveway spawn so you can rotate in quicker for P3. It's great. It's a really good thing to watch. Fantastic. But also, sometimes if you're just getting 3 and 4 piece, there's nothing that we can break down there except for win your ones, ladies and gentlemen. And we saw a lot of 2, 3, and 4 pieces in that map.
Yeah, I mean, let's just even look through some of this stat line. I mean, Lurks, 10 and 24. That's a tough stat line to be able to have there, right? Less than a 0.5 is really, really tough. And I feel like that was kind of what was the difference maker, right? We saw it in some of those earlier games, in the controls specifically, right? Lurks went huge. When Lurks was coming online, Stallions were looking like a whole different team. But obviously here, not really working out well. You have Illy also with 11 and 21. A peculiar stat line coming out from him. I mean, Major Maniac's not doing too great either, 13 and 19. Abe's the closest one with 19 and 23. At least 11 of those being non-traded. But I'm just looking at this Cabal side, man, and it is just everybody firing on all cylinders, specifically KB and Rooper.
Yeah, and the thing as well, Rooper's got 2 minutes and 15 in the hill. My guy is paying rent in that thing. Like, he put on a clinic. And I mean, we've spoken about him a lot through this series. There's been a lot to say about the kind of things, you know, that he's been doing over, you know, this year. And he came into today, you know, he was on a 0.96 KD overall. I get the feeling that that is going to look a hell of a lot better after today, put on through maps 1. I'm pretty sure he also had a really good S&D as well. So I don't think he's had any chance really to drop any clangers. So really good performance. I believe, now I'm going to go and triple check this before I confirm, because CDC Intel, they tried to do all of the math about who gets on through. So yeah, Cabal will be the number 2 seed from Group A. Now I'm trusting you, Josh, by the way, the guy who's doing all the math. So yeah, he will be, Cabal will go through his number 2 seed. 5 fears are eliminated from playoff contention. I don't know then where that leaves. Have we got any updates on the data board? Because I'm kind of curious about where everyone else sits. So Cabal Gaming confirmed. Royal Spartans go in as 3rd. Stallions will potentially, but Stallions will squeak through in 4th. That is insane.
Wow. All right. So even off of that loss, they are still here. That's the type of stuff we like seeing.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, because when I saw then 5 fears eliminated, you end up in a situation then where, well, we know that Carolina were already out and done because they have been, well, they are 0-5. They won 1 map in 15. But yeah, if 5 fears are going to fall, then Stallions squeak on through. I will say, probably tough for Stallions. We've still got a couple of results to confirm it, but the top team on the other side of things is going to likely be Omit Brooklyn. So yeah, that's going to be a tough start to life. I mean, we've seen life in Stallions. We saw plenty of good things from them. We saw, you know, for example, the control. They push on through. They were forced onto that offense for round 5, figured it out, and it feels like if they are put against the wall, they have something to answer back with. For example, the S&D, they went down 4-1 and pull off 5 rounds in a row. It just feels like sometimes they lift that foot from the pedal, and that is when teams of this caliber will just punish you.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I mean, this Group B is looking equally insane as well, because we're about to watch Vegas Academy go up against Lore, and that's like if Lore comes out and wins that, right, that's going to then tie them with the Vegas Academy. And I'm curious about just what happens with the rest of the group here. I mean, do we have the rest of the games? Do you have like a sheet that you can share with me? You can send on over that, like, do we know the other matchups going on today?
I've been checking. Hang on, I'll send this over to you. So I've just been checking Codpedia, to be honest, because like a lot of different things. Oh, wait, do you mean like the stuff that is live, or do you mean like?
I just want to know who's playing tonight. You know?
All right, I've sent you over something for Codpedia. Like this is usually the site that I turn to, but I have said that I've just checked my DMs. And Ben, legend, coming on out here and providing us some context on what's been going on elsewhere. So Omit 3-5 Fierce. Brooklyn are 2-1 up currently against War, although I believe is that now? Yeah, so Omit are, well, that would decide, I guess, who finishes top. Because then that would be, yeah, so sorry, not confirmed that Brooklyn are yet top seed of Group B. They would have to beat out War. Whoever comes out on top, that one basically takes it. Then just taking a quick look, Distro against Luxury are currently ongoing. But yeah, Group A confirmed as Omit, Cabal, Spartans, and Stallions going on through.
Okay, so War.
Appreciate you, Ben.
So War, Omit, Brooklyn kind of doesn't matter, right?
For top seed, I guess.
Yeah, okay, matters for top seed, yes. But I'm just saying, like, both of those teams, they are basically a no matter what. Vegas Academy, well, no, yeah, they would still be fine, because at the worst case, if they lose and Vegas Academy wins, they would just be tied, but that's fine because they would just be 2 or 3. So just, you know, obviously it would affect seeding that goes in there, but that's okay. Okay, so basically, I think Lore needs to win if they want to feel like they are there. And and Destro and Luxury Exotic. So wow,
okay, so
there's like a possibility. Yeah, okay.
So this is what Josh put up earlier. So I mean, so Team War could potentially fall to 3rd seed, by the way, if they lose and Falcons Academy win. So it could get worse for Team War if they do lose. So Falcons Academy need to win and they're in, or they can qualify as a 1-3 or 2-3 loss if Luxury Exotics win. Lore Gaming need to simply win if Distro beats Luxury Exotics. However, they need a 3-0 victory if Luxury Exotics beat Distro. Luxury Exotics, if they win, they're in, lose, they're out. Distro also, if they win, they're in, lose, they're out. So we go into what? Vegas Academy and Lore. So let's kind of focus on those two for a second. So Vegas Academy, if they win, they're through 100%. If they win one map and Luxury Exotics win their game, they're also through. And then Lore Gaming need to win if Distro beat Luxury, but they need a 3-0 otherwise. So Lore Gaming basically need a 3-0 to guarantee getting through.
Gotcha.
Vegas Falcons, it's a case of winning, you're in, get at least a map, and you're potentially still in. Who's Luxury playing?
They're playing Destro right now.
Oh, they're playing Distro right now. Okay, so I'm just trying to catch up on everything that's going on right now.
Let me pull this over. This will help. This will help the viewers understand what we are talking about.
Yeah, no, we're trying to do all like the.
Here, I need to use the restroom real quick. I'm gonna leave this up and let you talk through it for like 30 seconds.
No problem. I mean, the thing is, well, we've been doing this for so many years here in Challengers that like these permutations never get simpler. They never do. They're pretty crazy. If Lore lose, they're out. Yes, very true. So Lore must win against the Vegas Falcons Academy. Who's streaming? Do we have anyone who is currently streaming so Distro v Luxury Exotics is the match that is going to be on main at the same time as us. Okay, so Brooklyn, appreciate you, Ben, win 3-1 against War with a 250 to 249 map 4. That is crazy. So that will be War then could potentially fall to 3rd if Falcons Academy win. Brooklyn will be guaranteed top seed. But for the Falcons Academy and Lore Gaming now, while the Distro and Luxury Exotics map goes on the other side, if Luxury win, they're through. Lose, they're out. Distro, same thing. But that matchup matters massively to Lore Gaming in particular, because if they lose map 1 and Luxury Exotics beat Distro, they're out anyway. That is insane. All right, okay, so we're basically keeping an eye on this series as well as the other one at the exact same time. This is going to be kind of crazy. I mean, I'm probably gonna like Ben. Yo, should I like pull that one up? Or are you just gonna keep me up to date? What's the situation there? Because this is gonna be. I mean, basically, Dan, the situation we're in. So Brooklyn beat War, so they will be guaranteed top seed, and War may fall to third if Falcons Academy win.
Gotcha.
What I will say is, basically, everything that goes on in our matchup is affected directly by what goes on in the other matchup. So, Luxury Exotics and Distro is the other game. Either of them win, they're through. Either of them lose, they're out.
And that's already going on, too.
But no. That's going to start with us.
I just saw CDC Intel.
Are they live?
I saw CDC Intel tweeted 6 minutes ago that Luxury take the hard point. Red card hard point.
Okay, so they managed to start before us. I guess they must have had like a quick one for their first series. Okay, so
yeah, because who's Exotics then? Watching?
The main broadcast should be doing Distro Luxury, according to the documents anyway. Could be wrong.
Well, let's check.
But yeah, so if Luxury are 1 up already, so yeah, if Luxury Exotics win, Lore Gaming need a 3-0. Falcons Academy can get through with a 1-3 or 2-3 loss or a win.
With a win, a 1-3, or wait, you say a 2-3 loss? Wouldn't that just be so like they're in no matter what?
No, if they lose 3-0, then they can fall out.
Okay. So the only way Vegas Academy is not in is if they lose 3-0.
That's if Luxury Exotics win their series.
Oh, okay. So what if Luxury Exotics doesn't win their series?
Then I think the Falcons should be fine. Because what's their record against Distro? So Falcons, dude, this is so complicated. So
I feel like there's got to be a way that we could let AI figure this out for us. You know?
Sure. Feel free. Falcons lost 3-1 to Distro. So, okay. So that's why it's so important. So if Distro win, yeah, the Falcons have to win because they would lose the head-to-head.
Gotcha.
There's been some wild results here.
I wonder if I could just like screen cap this whole thing and just be like, hey, write me out all the scenarios that can happen here.
Probably, like with the way that the AI stuff is getting to. Although it's a shame that you can't like download the tables.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could copy paste them right into like an Excel sheet, probably.
Yeah, potentially.
You might be able to.
I mean, definitely figure it out. I don't know. I like the idea of us never being 100% sure. I like the idea of us like.
I like that too. Cool.
We do get confirmation of our maps, by the way.
Yep, I saw that. So we have. Speaking of Skyline Hardpoint.
Yeah, Jesus.
This is such a weird map set. What? Okay, hold on. We're gonna pull this up because this is so weird. I'll let this play in the background. That's fine. But oh my lord, I should probably figure out a way to. I guess the vetoes don't super matter. If you want to know about them, let us know. Dude, Skyline Hardpoint, rewind search, Proto Control, Proto Hardpoint. When's the last time we watched a Protocol Hardpoint?
It's been a while now.
Eons.
Like, a lot of teams just don't seem to like it.
Hey, and then we got the dealership. We saw Vegas play this last week.
I'm not gonna lie, this dealership S&D still blows my mind quite a bit. The fact that we've got it in so early. I mean, who did we cover over last week? Was it the Spartans? I think it was the old YFP roster. I believe they're Spartans now.
Yeah,
but
it was Spartans.
Like, so they were saying like teams want to play them on dealership because they want to stop them playing like proper S&D because no one knows how to play dealership yet, and they're a really good S&D team. So curious about how dealership ends up in the series here. Just gonna take a look through. So for the Vegas Academy, it's gonna be unsurprising to everyone that Roxas and QK are top performers for the team.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, Roxas in particular. I mean, we cast over these guys last week, and Roxas and QK were very, very good. King of Booty also wasn't bad, but from what I've seen in the other series that he's played in, it feels like he's inconsistent with that so far. Asim just hasn't had a great stage, but yeah, we've spoken about it. You know, we watched that series last week. Very much the enabler of his team. He's the kind of guy who's going to put his team in a position to succeed. For lore, we've got this is Flame Hixie Mock Paul X. Paul X, by the way. Now this has relevance to you and me. I mean, is he like is he debating or like what? Because he put in his stream title that he was moving on over to Warzone. So
I don't know, man. Maybe he's just being a little moody.
Yeah, potentially, but that would be something. But yeah, Paul X has had a difficult series, difficult seasons so far. While Hixie has been putting on, and Hixie usually, I mean, he's the current KD leader for his squad 1.11. Very rare you hear of Hixie as KD leader. Now, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm a big fan of the way he works, but he's typically like an Asim, for example, very much the enabler, the glue guy. I remember speaking to him in Madrid, and he did say, maybe I have to play a little bit more for me. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe he is doing that.
Maybe.
So,
ooh.
I'm not have to wait long.
Yeah, I'm hearing countdowns go on in my ears. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. I popped in I just popped in a cough drop, man. I almost choked on my own spit.
Jeez.
I know.
Right. Well, that was.
I'm sorry for anybody who had to listen to that. I just want to say a quick thank you though to everybody who did subscribe to the channel. We do appreciate it. Definitely thank you very much. Viewership's been great today on both the EU and here on NA. So we're definitely like super appreciative. We're always going to try and make this one better. I have an actual idea that I'm going to work with the production people that we work with on how we can potentially make this one, make this even better and let us be able to interact with you more. But enough about that. Let's get ready on go into the game here. Vegas Academy Lore Gaming. It is a Skyline hardpoint. We talked about how earlier this was just an absolute mix fest. And I think we're already seeing that as Fame. I think he starts off with a 3-piece.
Yeah, he does. Immediately lights things up from Top Cat here. We're sitting in T, finds a 4th, finds a 5th. All right, Fame showing up, knows exactly what his team needs to do, win and in style. As he starts with 5 and then catches a player rotating in behind him for 6. Fame already beginning to assess the idea of a cruise, a Hellstorm, sorry, to come into this. Make that 7. Can we just stay on this POV? Finally, someone shuts him down.
Lord.
King of Booty will clear it
Okay.
up. That is 4 dead. Falcons Academy activate big time to take P2 side.
Rox is huge for 3. And yeah, you're going to be able to hold down this P2. King Body will get found by Paul X here. The QK playing alongside this top, just trying to cut down anybody that's maybe trying to wrap through the back here. A great little shimmy on the desk. We'll let you bring down Paul X as Asim finds Mock and a nade. Do you get confirmation? No, it's just a little bit too up over the top. Fame here, though. Nice little iron sights on up. We'll cut you down. QK through the back, doing a great job of just trying to stay alive. You're good for 2. Okay. A little bit of time here on the point for Lore Gaming, but Vegas Academy, they're looking solid on this point. An unfortunate team kill comes on in for King of Body, but I think you're still okay. You managed to hold these P2 spawns.
This has been a good passage to play here for Vegas. Obviously, not too worried about that P3 rotation on next. It's kitchen, basically middle of the map. Stone's throw away from you right now. Asim, well, I was about to say he's done a great job of just staying alive, but I'm not sure what that was supposed to be. As he tries to hit the fadeaway and simply dies instead. Opportunity to set up, well, I was about to say an opportunity to set up a little bit of a pinch as you get a spawn out for Asim and Roxas, but then your 2 teammates die on the opposite side. So Lore Gaming with an opportunity to lock this down, and Paul X is trying to hold top bridge to ensure there's no crossing over.
Paul X cut down on the connector. Fame not able to hold on through. The teammates trying to fire on all cylinders to manage to bring this one through, but it is just all eliminations in the board. Vegas Academy kind of trying to be able to rock through the front here. You will get cut on down. As Mock just doing their best. Sit on out here on the outside. Great shots, but look at this angle from Roxas potentially on the outside. Asim banging it out through the front. Ixie will cut you on down, but Roxas is good for 2. This could be the opening the Vegas Academy needs, and it looks like it will be. You'll Have 15 seconds here on the board, but you're trying to look, of course, towards this P4, and it's all spawns for Lore Gaming.
Yeah, and Hixie's playing out the front. Finds 2, finds 3. Surely not the 4th. Teammates will be there. Mock for 2. Hixie pre-fires. Unfortunately, hits nothing, but finally brought to an end. So Fame trying to lock things down here. Has started 14 and 6. A lot to pay attention to. Oh, the timing's completely against him, but he does get some protection in from his teammate at least. And the spawns continue to come, so Vegas trying to hit this from the front.
Alex tries to stay here, but some great timing from Vegas. They'll flush him on out, force Hixie up here to the top side. Do you get found on out? You do. QK cuts you on down. King of Body feeling a little stinky. You got to hop in that bath. Will get taken on out. As Roxas, at least we'll be able to cut down one more as you start to surge on forward. Tie game right now, folks, as we get ready to head on into the second rotation of a Skyline hardpoint. Ooh, Roxas goes for the nade cook. Doesn't need to do it. You got the gun in hand. Fires you on and down, and it is just everybody trading right now. But if you are Vegas Academy, as this P1 is going to pop on open, you got the spawns. It's all about holding this one on through into P2.
QK just trying to hold the cross here, but too much to deal with as the player hits the point. King of Booty's on the flank. Finds... Oh my god. Oh, you're not going to want to watch that one back. To be fair, it was coming into the second kill. There's maybe an extra bit of window for Fame to react, but even still, you get tucked into bed if you're a King of Booty. And Fame here found that spot that he lit up so well in the first P1, as his team have now taken that great P4 that they had and extended themselves into a 50-point lead.
I like this. Paulex just kind of being annoying on point here, not letting anybody push on through. Mock tries to watch the elevator shaft, but will get cut on down in the transition. Hixie for 2. But if you are the Vegas Academy, you have already found yourself with these spawns. You got Roxas playing on the top here. Mock with a great kill here towards the piano. Hixie finds another one. QK out the back. Vegas Academy, they had it all set up, but man, it's just a series of ones that you lose. You lose the spawns. You're not trying to fight in through kitchen for this P2. Lore continuing a little bit of dominance here on this second set of rotations.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we talk about it, you know, it's all good and well talking about the tactical side of the game, and it seems well, he hits a great route to get his squad in for P2 spawns to try and stem the bleeding a little bit and slow this momentum that the Lore Gaming squad have. But just as he does that, his teammates all die around him, and Lore Gaming doubling up basically on the points of Vegas Academy starts to look towards that P3 rotation. Again, you can make it quite late, and right now Lore Gaming gonna have most of their bodies up, so they're starting to assess, and it's just moments like that. King of Booty gets that kill there, you back Lore Gaming away for a moment. Instead, they should have numbers to start to hit this point immediately.
I liked what Mock was trying to do there, which is basically running around P2, making sure that no opportunity was going to be given to slide on forward. But for now, it's all spawns right here. Paulex is good for 3. Just shy of 4. Just being a nuisance in this hill. Go ahead, try and rip him off. You're not going to be able to. Vegas Academy at least still have the spawns for P4 here, as they're just going to continue to start banging out this hill. But Paulex will not be ripped off just yet. You're going to cross the 200-point threshold if you are Lore.
Vegas Academy must find a way to settle this, to ride out these rough waves. If they can lock down a P4 for as long as Lore Gaming did last time out, then they've got every opportunity to do that. But it doesn't help when Paulex is able to just spin so freely, finds one, and Roxas will finally cut him down. You've missed Fame. He's managed to wrap. He's trying to be a bit of a nuisance as Paulex calls in the Hellstorm. Paulex will die. He won't care much. Hellstorm comes in, sends the Vegas players scrambling. 4 dead in the feed. Perfect break execution there from Lore Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get those spawns, 4 dead in the feed, like you mentioned. It's now just all about holding this one. You can end the game here. 2 players from Vegas will slide on here into the stairs, but Fame is there for 1. Fame is there for 2. It's 1 player from Vegas left on the point. Hixie trying to play through bedside. Doesn't really matter much when the rest of these players from Lore are here holding down the fort in the front. It's a movement out towards the back. Mock will make that read. You see the arrows immediately start to spin towards this backside. It's only 6 more seconds needed on the clock. If you're Vegas, you got to start flying at the point now. It's trades all the way through. You managed to hold on in these last couple seconds, but you still get the close spawns. Asim is taken on out. That might be enough. No, you are 1 second shy as P1 will come on up. So still some signs of life from Vegas, but you literally cannot get off this point for the rest of this map.
Yeah, the problem for Vegas, you basically have to turtle this. You cannot allow any moment for a teammate to die. A Lord Gaming play to touch. I think it's a half a second away. And that hit from Fame there will give you an opportunity to pinch.
This could be it. This could be it. Mock flies on forward, rips the player off the point, and there you have it. It was inevitably going to be here on the P1. Lore Gaming come back on in 250 to 122 and a Skyline hardpoint. Took them a little bit to heat on up, but once they did, man, the guns were hot. Paul X doing a great job in that second rotation on the P3, just not getting rooted on out. Absolutely cooking.
Some very impressive fundamental work there coming out of Lord Gaming. We'll come back to it, but it's also just a case of I think Vegas got a little bit lost in the pressure of this map. It's one of those where if things are going badly, it can easily spiral when you're against a good team, and I feel like Lord Gaming never relented on that effort. There was a moment there where Vegas, they're trying to set themselves up for that P4. Okay, we're about 100 points down. Can we stem the bleeding and just get some sort of foothold in this game? Just it looks like they're going to pull that off. Fame hits a flank through top plat, tucks himself into that garden side and just lays in wait because Paul X has himself a Hellstorm, brings that in, and just as Vegas is sitting thinking, all right, we finally have 4 set up, well, they watch missiles rain in from above, get picked up from a player who springs up from the side, and just like that, all of your team fall around you. So great stuff from, I mean, even right at the end there, you needed half a point, and I'm watching Fame play routes under the map to set up a pinch on the opposite side, never relenting, never giving Vegas the opportunity to breathe.
Yeah, I think that's a great call out. Obviously, Fame had a fantastic map. Their 34-19 was the final stat line. 24 of the 34 non-traded. Wild to have there, but I like that you bring that up. Yeah, even when you only need a literal fraction of a point, literally a single point was all you needed, still trying to be able to play those fundamentals, make sure that Vegas cannot come on into this. Look at the Vegas side, obviously King of Body not having a great map, 18-28. Everybody just a little bit shy of that 1.0, kind of 0.8s across the board that are there. You do see some great sort of amount of assists and you know, non-traded kills, which is cool, but it's just not enough. King of Body actually leading the team with the most objective kills, so trying to be that player to push on in, maybe get, you know, some breaks there. When 10 of your 18 are objective kills, but you have the deaths as high as they are, kind of lets you know you're trying to be tip of the spear to go for some of those breaks, but unfortunately was just not working out at the end of the day. But some great stats across the board. Paul X yet again on that P3 looking absolutely insane. 2 minutes and 7 seconds of hill time for him, and still looking great while doing it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've broken it down very well. It's very much a case of Lord Gaming out Slade, but also, you know, someone like Paul X putting himself on that hill for 2 minutes. That's a long time to be sitting there and letting your teammates do what they did on the map. So impressive work across the board if you're Lord Gaming. And what I will say, they need it to be impressive. So going back to how important it is in terms of results for how this gets to, of course, this other series going on at the same time, which is Distro Gaming against Luxury Exotics. Both of those teams, it's the same story. You win, you're in, you lose, you're out. Whereas here, it's very different for the Vegas Academy. So right now, what I will say is 2-0 in favor of Luxury Exotics. Now, what that does to our tie, that is important for our tie. Lord Gaming, if Luxury Exotics win, they have to win this series 3-0. Otherwise, they're still out. So with that in mind, very good that they came out here hot in map 1. Must carry it perfectly into map 2 and map 3, because no doubt they're doing the same thing as us. They're checking out their messages, they're checking out the other stream, and keeping up to date with exactly what they need to do. For the Vegas Falcons Academy, they can still qualify here with a Luxury Exotic win if they get a 1-3 or 2-3 loss. So Vegas also keeping an eye on the other side of things and thinking, all right, can we nick an S&D here? Because, I mean, well, quite frankly, Slaying didn't go too well in that one.
Yeah, but it kind of has me a little bit worried, especially because when we talk about this search and destroy that's about to come on up. It is a rewind, right? It's a map that we know you can really work, and it's kind of a who can kind of weasel their way through mid the best. It's a lot of just central gunfights there in that DVD store that really kind of come out on top. And just from what I saw from that first game, I mean, it was basically the only people who was really finding eliminations and had any amount of slaying power from the Vegas Academy was QK. I feel like for the first like 2 minutes of that map, it was every time we would see QK, it was at least good for 2 every single time. So that great. I mean, search and destroy, if you can make that happen every single round, you're really going to set your team up nice. But I can definitely see an opportunity where QK might overheat a little bit, get taken on out, and then it's going to be really hard for Vegas Academy to answer on back. I think we're going to see a little bit more clinical gameplay from Lore when it comes into the search and destroy. But reminder, folks, if we get to the game 3, then you then go into the double protocol between Control and Hardpoint. We end it with a dealership search and destroy. So lots of just weird maps coming on up here as we get ready to drop on in. I mean, I feel like for such a series that has all this weight to it, man, this map set is definitely like, I don't know, very, very interesting to say that. And I actually want to say, as I'm kind of yapping here, Luxury Exotic just won 3-0, it looks like, over Destro.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, you then end up in a situation where it must be a 3-0 for Lore Gaming to see this through. Falcons take a map. Falcons are through. So Lore Gaming, then, what you need. I mean, we look at Rewind. What does this data tell us? S&D plant win percentage. It is the highest of every single S&D map. It is the highest. S&D First Blood win percentage. The lowest by 0.7%, but it is the lowest. So it's First Bloods, yes, still important. Of course they are. So I'm looking at a couple of your different players here. But what I will say, generally speaking, First Blood's been difficult for Lore. First Death's very high in that column, unfortunately. But bomb plants, I'm looking at Hixie. That's the guy that needs to come online a lot here. He's had 14 of their 15 bomb plants thus far. He's the guy moving that bomb around. He's the guy making those plays. He's got to have another pop-off map to ensure his team don't drop a map.
Lot of superstar performances need to happen here on this map, especially with that 3-0 coming on through on the other side. It kind of sets the stakes for what we are looking at here on this game. So Lore Gaming a 3-0 is really what they are kind of setting their eyes towards. If you're Vegas, well, you kind of need to win one map and you're feeling pretty okay about your chances coming on in. So here in round number 1, it's a pretty stale defense right now for Lore. I like this. You don't have to get too aggressive. You don't have to start moving around the map too much. And for Vegas, it's, well, a lot of nades, a lot of lethals, a lot of tacticals. We're going to see a seam. Go ahead. Plant that bomb on down. It's on the outside, though. King of Body will get founded by Paul X. First Blood going to Lore.
So again, it's so often about getting this bomb down that's important. Nassim, well, he pulls it off and also finds a kill. We'll get traded on out. So numbers advantage, but it still continuing to stack for Lore Gaming. Roxas does well to find one. But, well, that's the thing about data, my friend. I can sit here and lay it up in front of you as much as I like, but it's all about execution on the day. And Lore Gaming surround the point, surround this internal building, and retake it. They'll go up 1-0. And I gotta say, despite best efforts there from Roxas, I don't think he ever reads that he's being being surrounded by Paul X in the end.
Yep.
Lack of intel available for this Vegas team. Got to be better in round 2.
Yeah, there's a fast bomb plant that went down, but we just saw the bodies fall immediately afterwards, and you just leave Roxas in that 1v3. It's very tough. Going on into this, Hixie, he's going to eat a nice little pre-nade. Thankfully, we'll only put him down to the 50 HP. You want to invest that trophy system as well, and Paul X just trying to make a little bit of a hop here, and it's going to be a reverse fast B plant from Lore Gaming, but kind of see their setup is a little bit more split. More opportunity to take advantage of some of these players pushing on through as King of Body yet again will be the first blood here. And Hixie from the top rope, and this little fade away onto a seam. We'll be able to get you there, but it's a 2v3. Hixie yet again just playing alongside here. Looks like the QK has been found, playing on this backside truck. Yep, there's Hixie activating. Roxas yet again left in the 1v2. Here's Mock. Some really shots going on through. I like this. Mock's going to go ahead, disengage, back on up. Not give any opportunity to get taken on out as well. Time will unfortunately not be on your side. If you are Roxas, you're on a 2 streak. Do you maybe try and find one on the exit and just play your life? Not even able to.
You don't even get that. Good Lord, Mark absolutely rips him. And two things, King of Body needs to stop being a easy first blood here. He's getting found for free, and that's twice in a row. But also, what I will say, that post plant setup from Lord Gaming, I absolutely love it, and it's partly on this man Mock. You get that bomb down, you get a couple of your players start to spread out. Hixie's left to kind of defend the bomb site by himself, but Mock pushes all the way out towards RV, ensures that he's pushed way out. If he does die, there's that early intel, but if not, what he gives you is a side that is protected, and Lord Gaming know that then they can focus on the two other entryways to that point. Great little safety net there. Vegas Academy need to answer back.
This is around to do it, but as you start to make your way in through the mid, you already start getting looked at by Mock on the outside, so they'll give an opportunity for Lord Gaming to start understanding what's going on here on the map. And Hixie already has an RCXD here in round number 3. And I don't know if he's just waiting to go and try and activate it or what, but hanging on the outside. And I like this. Lore, you don't do anything crazy. Play for the retake. You got Mock on this outside who's already seemingly has these players underneath the site. RCXD apparently did get blown up. So Hixie back in. Looking down the barrel of his gun. Already 4-0.
QK Mock fight on the outside is huge. It's everything. If Mock wins it, or QK gives this position up, it's going to allow Lord Gaming to surround this site again post-plant. They need him to protect.
I like this. You see Fame has sort of made their way on the outside as well. Flies on forward. It's a couple of trades there, but QK and Asim, they're good for 2, but Paul X, he's going to find 2 just by himself. Will get traded out by Roxas. Mock in the back, though. Can you win this fight? That is huge. It'll bring us all down to a 1v1. Roxas, the last man standing yet again in these rounds. And it feels like Mock has already found this player. He's shimmying the pole, but it's pistol in hand. Mock with the aggression sprints on forward. Says, I'm not letting you survive this one, youngin'. Welcome to Challengers. As Roxas gets cut on down, Lord Gaming take round number 3.
Just something you can't let happen, quite frankly. There's no way of really talking about it other than that. Mark does a great job, and of course, for all the flowers to him. But I just feel like Roxas, as much as he is a very talented individual, I'm not sure what his decision-making is there. He starts pushing up the street. When time is on his side, he can push Mock to play for that bomb. He can force him into positions he doesn't want to be in. Instead, he makes the gunfight very easy for him. You're going to be disappointed watching that one back. 3-0 down.
Fast movement here from Vegas. They want to take some space here on this map, and well, they might pay for it. Okay, wait. Great little do-si-do there. Some teamwork finally comes on in from Vegas Academy. Asim will back on up King of Body. So that will be Fame getting taken out very early. Fame's still rocking a donut right now. Very, very interesting. Obviously, it hasn't impacted them too much. Pollux on this outside. I think he sees Roxas. That's a great stun. Follows it up with the nade. Is there going to be anything there? I don't think so, but King of Body flies on forward. Wait, that nade did connect. Hixie finds King of Body, though. Asim will make the trade on Apollo X. So it's now just Hixie and Mock against Asim and QK. Bomb still hasn't gone down. He got 30 seconds on the clock.
Love the way that Lord Gaming have taken their time here to try and move the Vegas team around and pick up a couple of picks. But while they have even numbers, they must move this bomb. Hixie going to try and plant QK. If he just checks over this other side, and he will, gets that one. And the bomb doesn't go down. Mock will be found as well. So great patience out of QK. Thought Lord Gaming did a lot of great stuff there. You find, yourself in a situation where your numbers disadvantage. I'm with you on how the hell that nade kills Roxas. It felt like that was the loosest throw ever, but whatever, it comes on through. Roxas just watching that nade roll by, I don't know, but you end up in a spot where Lord Gaming just trying to get Vegas to, all right, come over and check B. We'll cut you down as you rotate on over. But eventually, Vegas, just by enough time, QK can stop the bomb being planted, clean it all up in the end. So 1 on the board, felt like an important one.
Yep.
3-0 down, recoverable. 4-0 down, starting to look like a long or very quick game of S&D.
Yeah, I mean, 3-1, you're still feeling like you're in this game. 4-0, you can feel it slipping away from you, so I totally agree. Huge round for the Vegas Academy. We're starting to see Bomb out here on this cafe side with Roxas trying to be out there, but QK gets zapped on the outside. My apologies. Bomb on the bus side. It's trying to make its way on the inner there. Seam. Opting to be the bomb carrier this time. Trophies have been invested pretty much all around this bomb site as well. So you try and go for any type of stun check, any type of nade confirmation, it's going to get stopped at its tracks. Seam, well, he's finally been able to move on forward. Bomb will start to go down.
Hixie's there though for a booty. Hixie's there for a seam, and well, it's all easy. The problem you're having here for Vegas is you're desperate to push into A, try and get this bomb down. The problem is you give up the first blood, and A is one of those sites. There's so many different places you can enter. It makes it so hard to defend, especially when you are numbers disadvantaged. As such, you can only watch so many different entryways. Hixie finds himself in for free and, well, in for two. Interesting to see Vegas struggling so much with this. Their only previous time playing on this map was a 6-3 victory against Team War.
Yeah.
So, King of Booty, 0-5. A lot of the first deaths column as well. Got to find more out of him to get his team back on that same kind of form.
Gotta wonder if this is a little bit of rewind, being a key map of the pool very early on in the game. And we can look at all players on this Lore Gaming side and know that that's exactly what they were doing. They were playing 8s. They were looking at this map. They were getting reps on it. So maybe just a little bit more familiarity, a little bit more ability to feel comfortable on this rewind, search and destroy now that it's been added back on into the pool. Mock on this outside doing a great job of just getting some of this damage on in. King of Booty will open the door, throws the nade, and somehow Mock does get back down, but has their life still intact. Well, maybe I speak a little too quickly, as QK from distance will absolutely cut you on down. So we start to see the rest of Lore Gaming starting to activate through the mid.
You end up in a similar problem that Vegas have had before. They give you the A site, knowing that there's a lot of different entryways to be taken. They have numbers advantage. So next kill, very important. Basically a second first blood opportunity for Lore.
Well, you can see just kind of trying to play some rat angles here. Let's be honest. Paul X, he's going to be able to make some reads. He finds one, flies onto the outside. While you do get cut on down, you're going to get so much information with that. It's going to allow Fame to just kind of sight on up towards that door. Hixie from the inside, he's able to find one. In Vegas Academy, thought you were making a play here, but all of a sudden, it's yet again just Roxas, the lone wolf, put into the 1v1 against Hixie, and it doesn't even matter. You're not even going to be able to defuse the bomb. Hixie wins the gunfight. Lore Gaming, you're a man down, but you make the setup perfectly. Paul X activates for one and gives you all of the information you need where the rest of the Falcons are soaring.
It's also a straight up lesson in execution. We've seen this multiple times now where Vegas Academy have been numbers down, they've planted at A, and what Lore have done is surrounded the site, hit from multiple different angles, and given you no chance to really pay attention to them all at the same time. Very different story for Vegas. They try and retake with 3 players hitting the same doorway. When Paul X slides out to see that 3 players are stood there, he's like, yeah, I've died, but I know where you're all at. And makes it easy, sets his teammates up for success. Vegas Academy, they have to be perfect from this point on to avoid going too all down in the series.
I mean, there's just a lot to be said about this rewind, search and destroy. Just definitely, I feel like some miscommunications, just some lack of discipline coming out of the Vegas Academy. They do make some quick plants over at A, though. Some great shots coming on out, but King of Body, okay, he'll come online. There you go. Your first 3 of the game are into this round. A very much clutch round that's there. And okay, King of Body comes online, hits the route, gets a great timing. Helps secure you another round on the board.
Kind of wild to think that King Abudi had 0 kills before coming into that round there. And lights up 3 to put his team a little bit closer. It's still a mountain to overcome. Let's not get too excited about that. But if King of Booty can finally be the 4th, the Vegas Academy need him to be. And they have every opportunity. Lore Gaming take this bomb. Interesting strategy here to just drop back, hold, set up for the long lanes. Trying to bait Vegas Academy into a free blood.
A little bit of patience coming in from here on Lore. I think you're seeing a little bit of the discipline come on through for this team. They understand that it's really easy off of a round like that to try and answer aggression with aggression. They're not going to have that be the opportunity right now. They're moving as unit on this outside. Roxas, though, trying to look underneath this truck. Do you see any of these feet? Do you get confirmation that any of these players are around here? You miss Paul X moving forward, though. Hixie here with bomb in the middle. You try and activate if you're Roxas, but Paul X, he's going to be able to make the trade. Trophy goes on down, but Paul just doing such a good job right now of gaining info for the team. You're seeing these hop-ups over the wall. King of Body is here. Can you get some of these shots on in? Some great tags that'll back them on down. Time is ticking. You do not have the opportunity. Asim, he's going to be the one to slide on forward. We'll be able to cut on down Paul. What is going on, though? Hixie jumps on up. King of Body, good for 2 again. It's all up to Mock here. Not going to make it happen. You had the bomb down. You had all the space in the world, but kind of an overheat from Lore Gaming. I got to be honest.
I don't think Hixie wants to hop that. I think he accidentally hops that and puts himself into no man's land. To be fair, King of Booty, he doesn't care. He takes full advantage and well, has found 5 kills in 2 rounds after 0 in the previous 6. So he's finally come online. He's looking more of the player. But for Lord Gaming, you can afford to make a couple of mistakes and slip up to the minute. What they're trying to do there, set themselves up on long lanes, let Vegas get aggressive, cut them down. Vegas counts with patience. And they're going to need that as we look towards another round of them trying to hit A.
Already.
Oh, no.
Fast moves out of the inside. Hixie, you might have had an opportunity here, but King of Body, yet again, good for 2. Asim finds Hixie. Mock, last one alive. You'll be able to cut down King of Body, but wow. I want to know what happened in one of these last couple rounds. King of Body, good for 2. Every single round here, Enigma. Mock, he's trying to make it happen. That's a good way to do it. You find QK, puts you into the 1v2. But Vegas, they are sticking here together. It's going to be a tall order for Mock.
Vegas Academy again showing that better patience that we weren't seeing in the earlier rounds. Just you'll get damage in if you're Mock, but Asim will stay alive. Mock will go on the hunt, but this just buys more and more time. And eventually Asim comes out on top as well. So I said a moment ago, you can afford to make a couple of mistakes if you're Lord Gaming. Well, there won't be many more that you'll get away with. And right there, I thought Hixie had found his way in through the back, perfect timing, but somewhere else where I'm with you. King of Booty must have knocked back an undisclosed brand energy drink or something, because that guy is suddenly frying. What's he on now? It's got to be what, 7? Is he even 7 and 8? Okay, so he's 1 down. This guy started 0 and 7. Asim as well is on a 4 spree, has an RCXD to open up this round with. If you get bombed down here, sorry, if you manage to, if you get a situation where Lord Gaming flood this site unaware there's an RC in play, be in big trouble. But actually, Asim just throws caution to the wind and gets aggressive.
And you can see it's just a triple stack from Lore on this outside as well, trying to figure out how you want to maneuver as a unit. UK will get backed on down after some nades come in up over the top, but you are backed up here by Roxas, so even if Lore decide to basically flood this, you're kind of guaranteed some trades. And King of Body on the inside gets some great shots onto Paul X. Tweaks a little bit, some great shots onto Fame. You can see the movement already coming on through from the Vegas Academy. A great opening, though, from King of Body. QK, he's actually going to get an opportunity out here on the outside of Jen. Some shots go on out, but doesn't go for the chase. Hixie's answers on back, but King of Body's still here. Making the trades, making it on happen. That'll bring him positive into the series. It's a 3v2. On the outside, King of Body maybe gets a little bit too aggressive, but QK on the inside, he does the important work. Mock with the pistol in hand, won't be able to get it. Vegas Academy, they're crawling it on back, baby. They're bringing us to a round 11.
This now becomes absolutely terrifying for Lore Gaming. A reminder, Vegas need to win 1 map to get themselves a place in playoffs, assuming that all the permutations that were calculated earlier on were correct. Luxury Exotics, of course, have won in their series against Distro. So this puts a situation for Lore Gaming where if they lose this map after being up 5-2, it knocks them out of playoffs. What a story that would be, but none more so than the fact that King of Booty started 0-7 is now 9-9. Oh my god.
King of Booty. What is going on? I don't know what it was. I don't know what happened in between those rounds that you just all of a sudden come alive, but you have been carrying this team through this search and destroy to get to this round 11. It's a 2v4. Nade comes on through. A great opportunity. Just a little bit on the backside. Slides on out. Great shots. You actually get an idea that there's two players on over here. Yeah, you go on down, but you don't even care. QK is able to get the trade onto Mock. It's Fame. Last alive in the 1v3 here in the round 11. 40 seconds on the clock. A lot of time here.
No intel. How you've slipped on through so much of the map for free is insane. I honestly, he's going to hate the fact that he doesn't go on plant B. Makes a lot of noise. You do at least draw the Falcons players over towards B, but it won't be long before they realize where you've gotten to. And those green arrows will turn. Fame, what can you do?
Oh, maybe they line on up for you. No, they don't. You can't do anything. The Vegas Academy, dog. Come alive. I mean, lore, we're looking so damn good. And it was King of Booty on 0 and what was he? 0 and 6, I think.
7.
0 and 7. What's he end at? 10 and 10
out here. Brother, how you go from worst player on the map to arguably the best and most impactful, I have no idea. We said it early on, like he was very much involved in those first blood engagements. He was, losing far too many of them. And we were asking him, all right, can you just back off a little bit and maybe do something different? Turns out he needed to just keep on doing what he was doing. He was totally fine. He knew the game plan. He activates for a couple of 3 pieces, 2 pieces, and sees his team on through. I mean, first blood engagements as well, be absolutely damn there. I gotta say, it felt like Lord Gaming just took their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be tough as well. When you look back, you realize you were 5-2 up, needed to not drop a single map in the series. You're feeling comfortable in your respawns, so you're thinking, all right, well, if we just get through this S&D, we put ourselves on a control where we can go and fry out again. Oh man, this is going to be a tough one to watch back later.
Yeah, you got to hit some VOD review there. Okay, that's really what happens. I mean, wow. Yeah, being up 5-2.
Fame as well, like going 3 and 10. He had such a good map 1, ridiculous map 1. Reels at like 34 and 19 or something. Starts like 6 and 0. But he was one of the players that was entrusted with like the long lane street side in terms of making sure his team were protected. We spoke about so often about how when teams plant at A, you want to make sure you have a player controlling the street in order to then make sure that you don't get surrounded. You don't get anyone flanking in through street side, burger side, and collapsing on your point and retaking it. Also, if you've died out there, you then give up numbers advantage too. For, Fame, 2 first deaths, you got to assume that that's in those street side engagements a lot of the time. And, once you end up giving those up, I think that's given a route for Vegas Academy to get back in. So it's weird because at the start of the S&D, I was like, oh yeah, Fame's doing all his work. He's doing fine. What a tale of 2 different stories here flipping for King of Booty and him.
Yeah, I had to go all the way back to this scoreboard because we had Paul X leave early. Red card on the play. Shout out EzMac. Because he has found 25% almost of all challenger players are leaving their games, and that's not cool when we're trying to grab stats.
Yeah,
and even if you do that bad, 7 and 9 is not even like terrible for a search and destroy style line. So,
it isn't.
I mean, if Fame left, a little bit acceptable. maybe it would be
it's a yellow card rather than a red. It's
3 and 10. Yeah, okay, sure, we got you, buddy. But either way, man, I mean, like, just some great stuff out of Vegas Academy. I think that's exactly the type of map you need in a series like this. So, by the way, this was the one they needed at least 1 map win, and I think with that 1 map win, they kind of secure their spot through, don't they?
If the permutations are correct. So Josh has done, and don't get me wrong, I trust him. He's called Lord Josh for a reason. But he says that if luxury exotics win, Vegas can still qualify if they win or if they have a 1-3 or 2-3 loss. So basically they need to avoid being 3-0'd. They will definitely avoid being 3-0'd. So with that in mind, for Lloyd Gaming, it was that they needed to win if Destro beat Luxury. However, they needed a 3-0 victory if Luxury Exotics beat Destro. Well, we know exactly what happened in that other series. So that should mean Lloyd Gaming are done. Falcons are through. They do, of course, have a little bit of time to settle things here, but what I will say, Protocol Control, Lord Gaming have a 3-1 record here. So 3 wins, 1 loss. Vegas 2-1. Interesting, both of these teams beat out Team War here, but Team Lore also beat out Omit Brooklyn. Actually, both teams beat out Omit Brooklyn. Both of these teams are good at Protocol Control is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. Okay, I was like, I'm hearing gun sounds in my ears, but I don't see any gameplay. We are in, ladies and gentlemen. Protocol Control. It looks like, what did we miss? Well, it looked like a pretty solid break from Vegas Academy here. Seeing some kills on the board for the boys. They are on defense. Start to see some of these players from Lore trying to make their way through on this top side. We'll get kind of down. Fame's good for 2, though. That's a really great job. You manage to hold down on out here. QK will make sure that you do not get to hold that one on in. I would love to see them clear this out just a little bit. Ooh, great shots onto Hixie. This QK kind of still being annoying on this B point. A little bit too much of a shoulder there. You will get cut on out. As Paul X finds King of Booty in the mid, and Mock finds the seam. So that'll open up the map a little bit. Start flooding this A side. The stack comes on through. You can see the ticks are pushing.
Roxas finds very big kill, by the way, over on Fame at B. It just means that the team can start to focus about how they retake A. One tick has come through, but other than that, it's a wave of green for Vegas Academy. A lineup of kills that will allow them to regain all of that map presence. Hixie, important kill here in lockers. Going to give the team an opportunity to set up for some sort of hit. Thing is, you're lacking control over important points. What they don't know is that Vegas also don't have much presence in grandmas. You will now get one, but Hixie should be able to find them. Important kill to allow you onto A. You get picked for free like that?
Yeah. Coming down to the final 10 seconds here. It's Mock versus the Vegas Academy. Great shots will come on through. King of Booty in the backside. We'll get cut down by Hixie. You got to start flying at this point if you are Lore, but it's decided to take some fights in the mid rather than get onto point. And, well, that's going to be round number 1 for the Vegas Academy.
I feel like there's a moment it happened twice through this round, but there's a moment where, you know, we're talking about Hixie. He gets control of grandmas. Typically, if you've got control of trips, control of grandmas, that A point should be something that you can hunker down, get yourself all nice and tidy and pretty. But Roxas, I'm not sure which player it was on the point, maybe Paul X, but like you end up in a situation where Roxas from back barrels near castle is able to get a pick on the player on point. Should never happen. If your 2 teammates have control of grandmas and trips, you should know that you just lie down, pay attention to the fact you're not getting flanked, and just chill out, giving your lives away for free.
See him on the outside here. Trying to lay in wait, maybe get something. QK for 2 on the backside. Mock and Paul X will get cut on down. Roxas is just a little bit slow on the push on out. Fame playing on the upside here. Thankfully, the trades come on through. A little bit of do-si-do in the backside. Bottom of trips will help bring Hixie on down. Paul X on the outside. Mock on A point. You can see here, it looks like the Vegas Academy, they want to start making their way a little bit through the middle side of the map. Maybe you determine what you want to go through, but just zero opportunity for them right now to really even get past trips. Lore Gaming doing a fantastic job of just holding their ground, finding their eliminations where they can, and how Paul X can surge on forward, get that kill, and back on up is crazy.
Yeah, look how turtled Vegas Academy are right now. They do a great job of finding Paul X. The Hixie will be here in lockers. Oh, so he gets dropped then and allows one to slip into spiral, and QK will stay alive to get trips control. King of Booty gets in down towards the bottom. That means he can now fight for grandmas. This is the setup the Vegas Academy are looking for. This is exactly where you need to be. But you just don't pay attention to enough. Paul X will find you, and as such, QK wisely just tries to back on down for a sec, but that will be the tick that evens things up on the board. The difference is for Vegas, you still have 30 seconds to fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge. Find one. Ooh, the Hixie out of the window wins a huge one. Thankfully, Asim is there for the trade. But still, if you are Vegas Academy, still tough for you to be able to push on through.
QK gets in on the point. He does lose his coverage in mid, though, so gets up in a bit of a panic. And it's cleaned on up. And for Vegas here, unfortunately, we've had to slow down. That pick might open up something, but you're too far away to touch. And yeah, Roxas won't get there. Probably would have died anyway. So we even it up. We are even on 6, 1 apiece. Again, both of these teams with great records on this map. Weirdly, Vegas lost this to Distro and Lore lost this to Luxury, but they've both seen off the biggest sides in their group on this map. So it's clearly that they're both really strong defensive teams, because only giving up 1 tick here. Impressive work. What I will say, I'd be interested to see a different hit maybe on the break. As we hit off here, can you get yourself on over to B? Can you do something that moves the defensive team around? Because it feels like both offensive teams have just hit A so far exclusively and not really forced the other squad to shift their defensive foundations at all.
No, I think it's a huge shout out. Really no attention paid towards B. Mock here, top trips. You get some great shots. Ooh, Paul X. Oh my God, the timing. You will see that spawn come on in though, so you're letting the squad know that, hey, this B side is about to start getting flooded here. But a scene from the bottom. Mock is found. King of Booty finds Paul X. That's 3 down, but you're answering on back. Fame's good for 2. That is a huge win if you are Fame to cut down Vegas Academy. The triple spawn will come in onto this B side, but Fame, you might be able to hit a little bit of timing through this top mid side. Start shooting some players in the back. You are able to. There's at least 1, and your teammate wins the fight in trips. So for Lore Gaming right now, they're doing a great job here on this attack.
Yeah, I'd just love to see these Vegas Academies forced to pull on over towards B. Hixie's going to be a nuisance for a moment. Should be aware that he potentially has company. They've gone top lip. Hixie shoots. Hixie does finish the kill eventually, and Fame activates for 2 elsewhere. So 3 dead. Opportunity to push on forward. You have 1 tick. Second tick surely arriving then for this Lore Gaming team. Again, just needing pressure over towards B, and Mock's finding the kills, and suddenly you're lighting everything up. It's just QK to hold off at B, but A will fall in an instant.
Yeah, I like this. Paul X, he's totally okay with that A site getting wrapped on up just a little bit slower. He'll be able to push on over. Hixie playing from the stairs side will get cut on down. So there's 3 members of Lore Gaming not able to push on through. It's just Mock here on the bottom who will be able to find Roxas. Snaps on up onto QK. A great kill in the mid there, but Paul X yet again immediately off a couple of those kills will come on through. Does he get the confirmation? I think he does. You will get cut through. Hixie on the stairs. You'd love to be able to find this one. You find a great second. This could be your opportunity to get onto the hill.
Oh, Hixie snaps on King of Booty. Paul X will be here to try and trade things out. Trying to just protect his teammates. Vegas having to scramble here. B is already starting to go. Mock's got control of mid. Honestly, I was going to say I prefer your position up there just to hold that cross. Damage into a seam. And you find the player. No, King of Booty will activate down below, but he's then found. So all the players fall. And B, well, it's moving, my friend.
Yeah, triple stack. It's coming on through in the Vegas Academy. They actually spawn on the other side. These last final 2 players. Roxas and King of Booty, they can't manage to even spawn up and get into the hill. The triple stack from Lore Gaming will come on through. They win an offense, which is absolutely huge for them. They'll be able to come on through and feel pretty confident in this defense. They would love to put this one away and take this map number 3.
It's a tough one for Lore Gaming right now. Playing for pride. They do a great job there, and that position at the end there from Mock is kind of an example of what you needed to be doing, just cutting off that cross for Vegas, so they having to be bottlenecked down the side of the tower. And then you also get the worst case scenario for Vegas because of the positionings. You get spawned on the opposite side of the map. Much better from Lore, showing again if they had seen off the S&D, we would have expected them to dominate in the respawns. And we could be talking about them qualifying, but it will be 3 dead in the feed for Vegas. You are only going to have Mock alive over on that A site. So Lore going to have to hit through this back tower.
Ooh, and King of Body finds a huge one on a Paul X that's there. And QK playing from the stair side might be able to rip this player off the barrel. Great read. Oh my gosh, the teamwork. That's really good timing there. QK, just a little bit of patience. We'll let Asim surge on forward to find Fame there. And Asim catches Paul X onto the top. So you're trying to be able to stack this B point on in. Hixie is traded on out. Asim's still here. You're seeing these nades get flown on over. It's King of Body in the middle. You need to be able to make a read. Find a good kill here. There's 1. Do you manage to find 2? No, but it's going to give you the opportunity to get the info to your team. Asim for a huge one on the Mac. That's a B point secured. Vegas Academy, They're going to answer back in offense with their own. That lets them light it on up.
Seems on a 5 as well, by the way. Hard to find. It does eventually get a little bit over aggressive, trying to sniff a player out of tower. And finally, a couple of kills for Lore, but you will be 6 lives down. There's a lot of time for Vegas to play with. Roxas is cleared off that A point, so an opportunity for Lore Gaming to do something, who also had Pixie operating in and around your arches. Paulex also trying to do something fancy over towards that boat side. And Fame, well, he has Zip Watch, so Vegas Academy got to reconsider how they approach this, because from 6 lives up to 2, Lore Gaming suddenly getting a hold of this round.
Yeah, it's kind of the problem, right? When you go ahead and you grab this B early, it's like, okay, great. You're so used to how do we play for B coming from A, but if you haven't practiced this, it can be a little bit tough, especially when you have Hixie in your back line, at least kind of just making things a little bit more difficult. So Fame has been able to make his way on over to the point. We'll start clearing this and getting some great shots, just slipping, sliding around, being annoying. We'll get found on out, though, but Paulex from the top. QK is there for the trade, so a couple of kills will go towards the Vegas Academy. Minute left here to play with, as it is 12-9. Lore Gaming, they got to slow the pace down a little bit if they want to try and stay in on this, as it is just trades coming on through. That's always going to decide at Vegas Academy. And QK, he's good for 1. Oh, I thought he was good for the second. Can King of Body get the trade there? No, he can't. Fame has made his way onto the point. You only have 1 tick left, though, if you are Vegas.
Roxas trying to find Mock there, and I think they're actually going to pass each other in wild fashion. Roxas ends up behind Mock, shoots him in the back. Paulex here, a lot of work to do, and his timing's just not going to work out. So Vegas are going to dive this point, find the kills, and it won't matter anyway. The thing is here, that actually works so much better for Lore Gaming, because the fact that you die to the kills and not the ticks will leave Vegas with less ticks. And as such, Vegas will have another offensive round here in round 5.
Yeah, kind of felt like Navy was one of those rounds where they took you by surprise. They're able to capture that B, and it's just a little bit mixy, right, to get back on over to A, but it's a huge point you just bring up there. You go down by kills, not by ticks. So Lore Gaming, yet again, will be on defense. And Vegas Academy, well, your strats might have worked in that last one. Will they work here again? It's a tall task for you, but it's definitely possible. Breakoffs coming on through. It's already looking like some movement over towards B yet again, as you're trying to just put yourself into this position, maybe hold this plat area, watch this cross, make sure that no players are able to get into position to rip you on out.
QK here trying to be the distraction that moves a couple of white arrows his way, and he finds one. And you're also going to get spawned on the opposite side of the map for Lore Gaming, so they will be scrambling for a moment. A is secure, but you want to make sure you clear out B. And the player arriving is going to be Mock, but you have got QK lined up and ready for this.
Ooh. Okay, good trade coming on in from Asim, though. That'll be exactly what you kind of need. And, well, you got Roxas in the top side, finds Hixie, finds Fame, will drop on down, wants to start stacking this point that's there. And I like this. Asim immediately hops on up, aims in hand, is looking for these players off spawn that are here. But it looks like if you are Lore, you probably try and just give this one up yet again. And as that goes ahead, it's 2 minutes on the clock. It's 22 plays 19 yet again. Asim makes a nice little wrap. It's 2 dead for Lore. As King of Body, you find one on the backside. You're starting to stack this point just a little bit. If you are Vegas Academy, a little bit of progress.
The fact that Asim is still alive here is insane. It does finally get cut on down. Progress, though, starts to come in through A. Teammates should have trips controls. It's all about paying attention to your front. An important fight there that stops King of Booty having complete control of the lip. Cross should be protected. And does enough damage if you're Roxas to make sure that QK can clean up Hixie. 1 tick through. Roxas got to be careful of his back here, though. Paulex has hit the flank, finds one, and King of Booty does enough to shut that down, but then that allows Fame to get in. So if you are Lore right now, you have Grandmas and Trips control. Vegas, they do have, though, at least a lot of time and a few lives, I was going to say, but Hixie lines up a few. So those lives dwindling, and Vegas needs to find a way to clear off a couple of different POIs in order to get themselves into a position to hit this again.
Yeah, this is what's terrible, though. You have Hixie who's just in your back line, causing chaos, and Paul X, he's here for the party as well. Says, Hixie, wait, I see your two-piece. I want to get one, too. He's able to do that, at least help put some of the kills back in your favor. As you're starting to work on this outside, but on the top side, Vegas Academy is trying to make their way on through. Roxas will be able to slither on out, backs down Fame. That is 9 plays 8 right now. Vegas Academy. They need to just get these last final 2 ticks, take another offensive round, their second in a row, and they'll be feeling good. Hixie on the outside, though. Okay. Fantastic timing.
The problem you have here, if you're Vegas, you've spread it so far across the map, but you have such little intel on where these Lord players are that you're not really able to confidently hit this A point, and you're running out of time. And well, Paul X does that, it drags it back to a 4v5.
Fame just waiting in the back. You only have literally 15 more seconds. Great shots. You find Roxas, and yeah, no more spawns coming on in from Vegas Academy. And the rest of them will fall. It's just a seam on the outside. 3 seconds left. Will not be able to make it happen. You fight all the way to the end, but eventually Lore Gaming, they clutch it on up in the 5th and final round of the control here on Protocol. And they manage to bring it on through. I got to give some flowers to Vegas Academy, though, for almost pulling off the back-to-back double offensive rounds. It's a tall task, and, well, they almost are able to make that successful. But at the end of the day, it's Lore just playing a little bit better, and, well, also Mock having a huge map, 35 and 22.
Yeah, I mean, definitely worth tipping our hats to Mark there. An insane game, 27 non-traded as well, 10 objective kills, 21 defense kills. Very impressive stuff. But I think one of the things that kind of summed up the difference in who controls the map there, in that last round, I think what was it, like a 5 to 10 or something in life count, and Lloyd Gaming still come out on top. And it never felt like Lloyd Gaming were in a situation where they wouldn't. They made themselves so difficult to find, made the map very mixy. And as Vegas are trying to move through the map and across the map to try and put themselves into a point to like lock down that A zone, you just know that at any point these Lloyd Gaming players are going to be activating. They're in around lockers so they can get trips control if they wish. They're in and around grandmas and all these different positions that Vegas want to fight for, and they never really took them away. I would say the one thing that Vegas didn't do enough there towards the end is kind of play together. Felt like they were very much trying to take those fights 1v1, spread themselves across the map, and that played into Lloyd Gaming's hands for sure. But again, not trying to take away from the stuff Lloyd Gaming did. Felt like they even though it goes to a round 5, never really felt like it was out of their hands, apart from that round 4 where QK and E seemed go huge over on B.
Yeah, no, I think that was just where we saw some great teamwork, which is what let that be come on in, right? And it just felt like, I totally agree. A little bit of that last round, it's not really there, right? The teamwork isn't really coming on together. It feels like very disparate, but also at the same time, Lore Gaming is doing a great job of just putting themselves in just these awkward angles and are really forcing Vegas Academy to really truly clear every single corner on their way to the point. And when you do that, it just takes so much time. You make the wrong 50-50 call, sliding on through a door, you're cut on down. It's like you never have this opportunity where it's all 4 players are up and are able to really be able to make a play together, pushing on forward. So Lore Gaming feeling pretty good after that one. You know, obviously the S&D, they shake off the rust a little bit because, well, you came back on in that one. So you answer on back here into the control. You would love to be able to take this protocol hard point because we are staying on there for the next map. Reminder, folks, Vegas Academy, they've already done the impossible. They took one map. They have basically secured themselves moving on forward. It's just going to kind of alter some other stuff, maybe some potential seeding if they do manage to come on out and win here against Lore Gaming. So the hard part is done. Now you're just kind of playing for the gravy, playing for a little bit of the cherry on top, as I like to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we look ahead then to this control, I think that we start to look at some of the top players. Roxas is actually holding, and I've got to triple check if this number is correct, because if so, that is ridiculous. Is anyone higher than that? Let me just check this. He's got a 1.41 KD control. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the highest of everybody. in the elite right now. I'm looking over at the other team. To be fair, Hixie's rocking a 1.24, Mock a 1.13. So there is certainly some resistance, at least statistically, on this other team. But that performance from Roxas is insane. A 1.41 is nothing to be sniffed at. So very much so happy to use his AR, lock things down. So that feels like the star player if you are going to push this to a map 5. Talking about control KDs here. We've just had a control. Enigma, lock it in, brother. We're talking about protocol hardpoint. You've got a situation where both of these teams have played it once apiece, both lost. However, both of those games were to omit Brooklyn. Convincing style as well. 250 107, 250 to 142. Ben with the incredible stats work in the back. And what you end up with then is, well, both teams is a case of, yes, you've played this once, but you don't really find out where you lie on it. Yep. You've got to play against a team that is on your level. And of course, Omit Brooklyn are pretty much on nobody's level, decimating anything in their path. So we get to find out exactly how that looks. And is this a case of Lore winning the series out, despite the fact that they won't be making playoffs, or Vegas pushing us on to that 5?
This is the question. I will say Lore looked pretty good on this protocol, especially on control. I can only imagine when it comes to the hard point, how they are looking, how they are feeling, especially when we get ready to drop on in. I'm kind of hearing some of the clink clang of guns, so we're firing it on a protocol hard point. Very, very curious. It's been a minute, man, since we've actually watched a protocol hard point. I actually want to see if I can pull up the bands here real quick just to see how did we get to this point. But let me go ahead. We'll hop on into the game. We will get here. Potential opportunity for Lore Gaming to put this one away, or like you mentioned, will Vegas Academy send us to a final dealership search and destroy?
To be fair, what I will say, Roxas does have a 1.23 hardpoint KD before coming into this series today, and that's the 3rd highest of everybody. And when he starts off with 2 big ones over by Trips to get control and allow his teammates protection over this middle of the map, over P1. And King of Booty just paying attention to any potential tower wrap, but a world of timing must have come through for Hixie to slip through mid completely uncontested.
Oh,
King of Booty will eventually clean it up, but it ends up a pinstripe feed, which eventually hands P1 back to Vegas Academy. We start to look to that P2 rotation. It will belong to Lloyd Gaming for just a moment. But they got to be careful about not getting over aggressive.
I like this. Roxas from the top. He's able to find 2, and you can see P2 will go ahead and pop as a seam. Trying to be able to fly around here. Some nades from the teammate up top. You get this read on Hixie. Just trying to come on through. You're not able to land that nade, but thankfully King of Body is able to come in from the back, finds Hixie, finds Paul X, and it is just everybody dropping like flies on this P2, man. You're getting some close spawns if you are Vegas Academy, but everybody is just full sprinting right now at this hill, and unfortunately for Lore, they haven't really had an opportunity to get on this hill and stay on it. So, well, yes, it's popped on up. This hill has stayed mostly white throughout this P2.
Interesting to see Vegas Academy set up this side of the map. As the map has evolved, Roxas with the knife for 5. Oh, nearly made it a 6th, but he will eventually be cleaned on up. But yeah, what I was saying, Vegas, interesting to see them set up on the P3 sides. Teams over the lifespan of this map have preferred that in the late stages of the hills. Play in for P3, get that early rotation locked in for this side, and then you can instantly chain it into a 4. Vegas will eventually be bullied out of there. Fame with 2, Hixie with 1. Roxas the only player here really to make a difference, and well, you can see what he wants. He wants these backside spawns. He's going to tuck himself in, try and be a nuisance for a moment.
Oh, at least you've been able to find one. You'll make your presence known. Nobody on the hill, though, really wanting to slide on out here, and still kind of playing along in. QK is going to be the one to fly on in towards the point. You find Hixie, and yeah, you're just kind of doing a little bit of a dance around here. You saw Mock on that outside. You don't have to get aggressive. You don't have to do anything super crazy. Thankfully, you got your ARs banging on the outside, cutting down anybody trying to hit some of these wraps. Roxas with some great reads back-to-back. Continuing to hold this one on in, and a seam is good for 2 onto the point. Paul X gets found in the middle. You look at one more player. It's Hixie in the back, who will eventually get cut on down. Vegas Academy protocol hardpoint is looking good.
Not looking bad at all, and you're trying to chain 3 into 4, and Roxas is just going to be able to delay and delay and delay. It's going to allow his teammates to arrive in spiral. They get there a fraction too late to save him, but they get there on time to save the hill. And King of Booty then also applying pressure on the outside. We get all the intel that he needs, so there's players arriving big door. Mason will get spiral control.
Oh.
The nade will back some players off, and just like that, Vegas Academy in for 4 and up by nearly 100 already.
Some great nades coming on in as a duo there, but Asim continuing to hang on back. QK onto the point. Vegas Academy doing a fantastic job. They're just winning all their ones. They're making sure they're coming out positive in the trades. They're converting it into time on the point here. Paul X will drop on down. But you got a nade right at the feet. Yeah, that's going to let King of Body clean it on up. Roxas, unfortunately, with the team kill there. But you're still able to hold this one on down. If you are Vegas Academy, I think this has almost been a full 60 by them.
Yeah, this has been fantastic execution. They go back to moments like Roxas just delaying that push from players out of zip side, which allowed his teammates to arrive in spiral. You could easily take that fight, and so many players do. Overchild gives the point to Lore. They claw back a bit of time, but instead Vegas continue to eke away points. Roxas is going to be so unlucky there. Doesn't check his corners. Paul X is stood there on the other side. And Lore then will finally get in for P1, but I was about to say QK also has a Hellstorm missile, so that will rein in. Hixie tries to flee. He is found. The missiles will force everybody out of middle and into his teammates' labs.
Well, Paul X, though, he'll take advantage of that as he surges on forward to find one, and Hixie on the point answers on back. So Vegas Academy, they'll all get cut on down off the back of that Hellstorm. No real opportunity for them to come online after that. And they now just have to be careful about how you want to maneuver your way on out of this one. You're able to find 2 if you are QK. Huge kill on that player that is Helicopter. And yeah, you're now kind of getting some of the scrap time here on the point. Still 150 to 60 as P2 will go ahead and spawn on up. Paul X on the point will get cut on down, but Fame finds 2. Ixie on the outside. Unfortunately for you, the Jackal PDW, it's an AR, but it's not that far of an AR. This Paul X, he's been able to find himself on the point.
Interesting to see there that you had Lloyd Gaming trying to take trips control, considering that Vegas played out of that side last time. We're very comfortable doing so to then chain it into a good P3 and P4. Lloyd Gaming tried to combat that, but Roxas takes complete control yet again. And Vegas Foundation on, I was about to say unearthed, but Fame will find Roxas top windows. He will just spawn up and have an opportunity to go again. Paul X, the big player in the equation for that P3 rotation. He's already on the move over towards that trip side.
Yeah, but I like this. Look at it. See him hitting this little bit of a wrap. The timing. You find one. You find the other player who drops on out. You will get found, but I don't know if it matters too much. You did some great damage there, but unfortunately, I don't think the rest of the team could really get you into the position. So, you know, kind of playing for this P3. Lore Gaming doing a great job of holding this one on in. The trades come on through. King of Body finds Hixie off the point. So you're letting some of this time tick on down and not letting Lore Gaming get on in and bring back some of this lead in their favor. Still down by whole 80 points or so, and QK might just hit the timing of his life. Okay, you do get red. King of Body from the top. Can you get him off the point?
And the answer is a solid no. What I do like is that Vegas' answer is an early rotation to P4, but Roxas actually might be here by himself. Finds one, doesn't find the second. A half bullet away. 13 HP for Paul X. And then he helps Hixie out in the following engagements. So Vegas Academy suddenly feeling that this map's slipping a little bit. Lord Gaming starts to build themselves back in. A big 3-piece to answer that pressure. Make it 4 dead. And Vegas Academy can grab a hold of one of the hard points that they did so well on earlier on.
Yeah, a really fantastic break from them. It'll let them set on up, and that's what I like to see. Then you win these huge kills, and you set up the point. Look at this, Roxas. He's able to answer on one and somehow gets out of dodge. You let King of Body fly on forward. Your teammates are there for the trade. Asim, he's still watching this big door. He slides on out. Paul X and Hixie taken on down. Mock drops right into the crosshair. And Vegas Academy, they lose the rotation, but it's a fantastic break out of them as they are able to sit here and Asim on spiral. You'll find 2, but you bring one with you to the depths. Great work out of Vegas Academy.
And a break just when you needed it. Just as Lloyd Gaming were building themselves into this map. And what that does to Lloyd Gaming will likely take the wind out of their sails and make it a very difficult mountain to overcome now. Vegas, when QK eventually figures out the zip, will get Grandma's control. Starts to assess how to punch their way on forward. Well, that's a really good way of doing things. Call in yet another Hellstorm missile, reaping the rewards for their dominance thus far.
Yeah, it's a little bit of deja vu. It was last P1 he was calling in a Hellstorm. Second or third P1 he is. And then look, Paul X, he actually is able to get one himself, so he's going to answer on back here. Wants to rip them off this point, make sure they can't stay here. Is able to find two with his, so a little bit more success on the side of Paul X. But if you are Lore, you understand how important it is to really fight for some of these hills. It's only 15 points needed for Vegas Academy to take this map on home. So you really have to make sure that you are not letting them get some of this free seconds on the hill. Zasim, he's here. We'll find Mock on the stairs. Immediately looks towards the back barrel. Nobody's home. Nobody's top trips. Where is everybody else? Looks like they're nowhere to be found in QK. Well, he's already on P2. You did enough of the work through P1. Only takes a little bit of time there on P2 to clutch it on up. 250 to 132. Vegas Academy making Protocol Hardpoint look like theirs.
Yeah, absolutely stunning, really, considering how different the respawn has looked through this tie. You did make the game 3 at least interesting, but it still went the way we expected. And map 1, well, that was a bit of a run over for Lore, so flipping the script very much so if you're Vegas. Taking a look at this leaderboard, QK 28 and 13. I will say that QK and Asim had a fantastic couple of moments where they activated over towards that P2 side in particular. But I will say Roxas, I can see why he's got such a high KD, but also where it is impactful for his team. For example, that P2, P3, P4 chain that Vegas like to try and play out of. You get him sat up in those trips, and he's covering so much of that mid-map through P1. He's got that angle to cover over the tower in the mid-cross for P2, and he just knows that this is his home. And when other players come in there and try and contest it, rip it away from him, and remove that foundation that the squad have, he's happy to battle tooth and nail for it and made sure that his team were protected as and where they wanted to be. Other moments include as well that P4, you know, we saw how good they were on P4. We'll come back to the break, I'm sure, but also the one before that where they get in off the back of a P3 and Roxas just delays the push for long enough for his teammates to get there. A very intelligent heads up play. So very impactful player on that team, on that Vegas squad. And well, they push us to this game 5.
Game 5 on Dealership, man. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm glad that if we're getting pushed to a Game 5 S&D, I'm glad that it's Dealership. Like, to be honest,
because I can learn something.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like a map that we don't know about. It'll be interesting. It'll be engaging. Obviously, we watched Vegas Academy on Dealership last week. It looked like pretty good. So, I don't know. I'll be very, very curious. Let's talk a little bit, though, about some of the stats from that hard point. Rough game for Hixie, I think, is the number one thing we can say. Yes. Almost just shy of a 0.5. That's there with a 14 and 27. Obviously, Paul X, not a great game himself either, 19 and 22. Mock with the 20 and 27. Fame, the only one to go positive with a 26 and 24. 18 non-traded, though. Feeling pretty solid. But look at this, dude. QK with a 28 and 13. Over a 2.0 with, of his 28, 24 being non-traded is an insane stat line. Alongside Roxas, who's the 22 and 17, maybe a lot less impressive on the KD side. Still, though, 20 of the 22 going non-traded. I feel like that probably just tells us the exact story that we need for how that map went. A lot of non-traded kills leads to a lot of time in the hill. QK 3 minutes and 4 seconds in hill time.
Yeah, my guy was just soaking. 24 out of 28 as well is just ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, he had himself a fantastic performance on that one. Again, very impactful around, you know, that P2, P3. Obviously, the P4 in which he plays in around so much. Let's go back to that break. Let's talk about it. You know, Lore were building themselves into the game. Felt like they finally figured out how to get Roxas out of trips. Felt like they'd finally figured out how to get P3 away from Vegas in that rotation. One of those moments where it's like, okay, well, the gap now is down to around an 80-point lead, but we know that P4 can be a full 60. Vegas had done it just beforehand, and Lore get themselves in early. I think if in that moment Lore had managed to see out a 40, 50-point hill, I think we're talking a very different tie here. And the fact that, you know, Vegas prioritized so much, not only getting there early if you're Roxas, to just make it difficult and not allow Lore to set up in a wider position, a preferred position for that hill, but then just put everything into breaking that squad immediately. the difference maker. So QK 3 minutes and 4, but also a big part of helping his team seal off big important engagements.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we saw QK a lot of times in that game, just like have those monster skills. I mean, I think it speaks enough that on not one, but 2 different rotations was using a Hellstorm on P1. Like that alone is probably enough. All we needed to say to kind of make these stat lines look, look like they do. That's there. So it's a really good work out of them. But man, I mean, if you are coming on into this last final game and you are Lore Gaming, how do you think they're feeling right now, Enigma? I mean, I kind of was like curious. I went to go look at the map bans for Search and Destroy. We had Lore banning Protocol and Vegas banning Hacienda. So
I mean, it's tough because you obviously end up in a situation. Both of these teams have played dealership once. Lore have won there one time. That was against Destro. Vegas have lost theirs. It was against Team War. But for me right now, I don't think that there's been enough practice or enough of an understanding of the map for either of these teams to really feel a particular way about it. I think for Team Lore, you're playing for pride. Sometimes in challengers, that doesn't mean that much. I fear like it becomes a case of you're already looking ahead and thinking, all right, well, what's the change for me? Is this the right route for me? For Vegas, I mean, this team have been together for a very long time. And it's all, they've got a lot of chemistry. I think that they have a system that they buy into and believe, and they know that they've got to go through and play through bracket. So for me, I think that Vegas is an opportunity to learn a couple of things before potentially having to play dealership through the playoff bracket, which, as we've seen, good S&D teams, they're being pushed onto that map because, well, you haven't managed to do as much homework on it as you would have done on a lot of the others. So for Vegas, this is probably the most valuable map that out of the 2 looking here. For Lore, it's a case of, all right, well, we put a win in the column, I guess. We still bow out, but it's something.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? To be able to take a look at it. I think that's kind of one of the things that you probably have to keep in the back of your brain. I mean, we are getting ready to move on into playoffs, right? So I think if you can maybe to be that team that has dealership in your back pocket, right? I mean, if Vegas can kind of figure it out, that can maybe be this sort of ace that they have on that map 2 S&D. We've seen a lot of teams come out and absolutely slam at hardpoint, right? Over the last couple of weeks, they've been doing really, really good job on those respawns. And in some of these series, you just have to kind of go for that Neslo. Obviously, Vegas Academy, they're looking pretty good at control as well. So maybe you have a dealership S&D to say, yo, we're going to be able to come on out. We're going to pop this map number 2 so that way we can ensure we at least go to a game 4. And we are basically banking on that point of taking the control, or maybe we have a hard point map that we feel really, really good on, that maybe potentially we can slot on into that 4th and final map. And we just feel so good about our S&D in the map 5 that we're kind of not super worried about whatever map is left over that we have to go to, right? So it's a strategy when it comes to sort of the map pools and vetoes and bans and all that stuff. But I mean, it is kind of something, right? If you want to be the dealership team, I think there's a lot to be said about that.
No, definitely. I mean, as well, you're looking at some of these individual players. QK, he's on a 1.36 for S&D. KD, Roxas 1.28 coming into this series. So two players inside your top 10. So you've got 2 players, you're looking at your squad. We've spoken a lot of times about Roxas and QK about how good they are for this team. I think when you look at your star players, you put them in a position where, all right, you're very good at S&D. If you can make dealership one of your maps, you get that into a pool. Yeah, you are taking a map every time as long as you get to it. So I agree. I'm with you. Can you be one of those squads that's kind of ahead of the curve here? If so, you will reap the rewards. But for me, yeah, an opportunity for Vegas to potentially test a couple of different things and VOD review it later. Interesting to see how this all plays out for us as well, because we know so little about this map.
Yeah, exactly. And nope, looks like we maybe.
Yeah.
Over here. Are you in game? Is it still going?
No.
Okay.
We're frozen.
Okay, good. It's frozen for both of us. We're gonna kind of just let it. Oh, whoa, yikers!
Oh no!
Welcome back here. Oh well, okay. Welcome to Call of Duty. Okay. Well, rough spot. Hopefully, our observer can get back into the game and hopefully back in our call. So we still have. Okay, I think we do. Yeah. Okay, great. They changed the scene, which means they're still here. So that's good. They're going to reopen that game, hopefully get back into the lobby, get back on in. So we'll do that. Enigma, it's been a little bit since we have both been here live on the stream. And while we have a quick moment, you know what I would like to do?
CDL Wordle?
I would love to play some CDL Wordle. I would love to play some CDL Wordle. You gotta keep your eye on the game for me.
Yeah, I will do. It was funny because like you changed to like a screen and it came up and like reflected gray in your glasses, and I was like, wait, is that what I think it is? Yeah, no, it would be wild that I've stayed up till 2 a.m. for us to be DC'd from the last map. So hopefully they fix that up. But CDL Wordle will make me feel better about that situation.
All right, give me a player.
Let's start with Clayster.
Ooh, I like that. We'll get the olds out of the way first.
Must have played on a lot of teams as well, so I think that's going to help us.
So they are younger than 32, less than 19 wins, less than 3 rings, which does kind of help. They are from the United States, but they didn't play on Dallas, NYSL, Vegas, or Carolina.
It's your guess next, so...
Oh, God. Less than 3 rings. Let's go with somebody. Let's go like Vivid.
Yeah, he's also been on a lot of teams. All right.
Oh my God! Bang.
Wow.
No wins.
All right, so basically a Florida player that's got no wins, no rings,
and is less than 25.
Teammates. U.S. Florida. Wait, I'm thinking like the Mutineers. Oh wait, we're back in game. Are we?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh! All right, bang. Here we go. Okay.
And obviously, we missed the first round, and we've missed half of the second round.
Say okay. I think everybody missed the first round.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I see this bomb go into the middle of the map, it gets dropped there. People die. Oh, Paul.
Oh, I like this. Asim. Yeah, activate off of that. Okay.
Beautiful work there by QK and Asim. I mean, QK finds Mark, but also puts damage into Paul X. It says Roxas, but I'm pretty sure it's Line. Asim here activates off the back of it. Great work. And yeah, I mean, we missed the start there, but I gotta assume it doesn't go super well for Lord Gaming. The fact that Hixie drops the bomb mid-map says to me a big first blood loss. Could be wrong, of course, but Vegas tie us back up. And again, I think it's studying Vegas' strategies is going to be important here about whether or not they take any of these kind of things into playoffs.
Oh, I like that. A little bit.
King of Booty might have a lot on here.
Yeah, you have potentially 3 players that can slide on over. You at least have 2. Not too far away. And yeah, I like that. Back on up. You're kind of playing on an island a little bit. You got the 3 other players trying to make their way through A. You got some pre-nades flying on out. You have this little cubby that you can play through. Paul staying on the other side. You are going to see him. He tries to scurry away, but QK waiting on top of the truck. We'll find another one. Some great shots. And I like this. Slide on out. Just lay in wait. You're going to hopefully, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Smoke's in the way. I don't know if you catch Mock on that cross. Bomb's going to start going down, though. You do manage to get it planted. And it's just all 3 members of Lore trying to bang out the front, but a slide in. Asim, he finds the 2-piece, and Mock still in the back, last alive. They were not expecting him to do that. He doesn't get the final 1, but it doesn't matter. Vegas Academy somehow able to get the bomb down, but more importantly, they let Asim line up for 2.
Yeah, risky play out of Vegas. Asim will be rewarded for it, but a risky play in the end that, you know, you get that plant, but you can be hit from 2 different spots from mid, whether it be a wall bang or whether it's just straight out through the little ventilation shaft that's there, but you get away with it and also pick up 2 kills for free. Interesting that Lord Gaming didn't send anyone on a flank. They all kind of grouped up together. Instead of sending one pushing on through middle or maybe out through that mid cubby. Made it very simple for Vegas, who will happily take the lead.
See what the strat is on offense for Lore. It's a heavy push over towards B right now. Opportunity, though, for you to maybe make your way through the map. QK finds Fame, so that's going to help cut down a little bit. And Asim yet again here on the outside. Awkward slide up for Hixie. He will get caught on down. And look who's in the back. It's King of Body. Having a little bit of flashbacks from that map number 2 on the rewind, saying, hey, I'm not going to wait till this gets down to the wire for me to come online. I'm going to help this team early on. some great movement there from the Vegas Academy to take a pretty honestly easy round number 4.
Yeah, I felt like little resistance out of lore in that one. I'm just trying to assess how Vegas are rolling out here. It feels like, offensively at least, we've seen one push over towards A, involve 3 players heading towards site, and King of Booty just holding the long flank. Interesting to see the complete change up this time. It's almost a complete flip. And King of Booty again will be the island player, but this time the 3 players are heading over towards this outer B bomb site.
And it's just Mock over here. So if you manage to find this kill on the Mock, you're basically given the site for free. You do have Fame, who I guess could look out through this window. RCXD won't be able to find anybody. I don't even know if I got any information, but oh my god, okay. Fame pops on out, catches QK, catches Roxas, and a scene. Give the man a ace. I don't know if we got it, but you at least got the first 3, and that's what matters. So you don't let this one get away from you. Lore Gaming bring us up a second round here in game number 5. Fame with a huge 3 kills from the window.
Yeah, such a difficult plant, that B side. I feel like if you're ever going to do it, it has to be with numbers advantage. And you never really get that. And like you said, I don't think the RCXD ended up helping in the end. Didn't get the information. Again, Vegas Academy trying to use that 3-in-1 island player setup. With King of Booty, the idea is he makes them noise in the middle, keeps a couple of Lore Gaming players busy, gives you the numbers advantage on the site. Not happening so far. Double trophies out. I'm not sure if that's a miscom or intentional play. The nades won't make it that far anyway. And well, this has been a blind hit from Vegas, and they're about to find out just how wrong they got that. Oh!
Okay.
Oh!
Well, I don't know if it's entirely blind. You come out in their back, you find Mock, and a huge grenade will give you a kill. And just like that, if you're Lore, it was looking great. You got the fast plant at A, but pushes on forward. Roxas finds Hixie, and well, it kind of looks like one of those times where you think you have the plan, everybody knows their role, you set up to execute it, and you watch it fall like a house of cards in front of you. Vegas Academy, dare I say it, Enigma, they look like they know what they're doing on dealership.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a blind hit in the sense like they're just full sending. They don't know what's going to be waiting on the other side. But once they pass that bomb site on B and realize, all right, okay, they're not here, seemingly have a nade set up and an idea, okay, we want to instantly wrap this, entrap them. And also the nades hopefully will pick up something. And, well, perfect little car bomb goes off. 4-2. Vegas do seem to have an understanding here. Oh, my God.
Yeah, this is probably why we saw a lot of those trophies go on down. We were questioning whether it was a miscom. No, I think it's just they understand the amount of nades that can get flown here. So on their own offense, King of Body gonna be tip of the spear. He finds 1, he finds 2. Mock in the back, still the last one alive yet again. Second time we've seen a Vegas Academy player slide on out from that car and be good for 2. Mock found on out. Vegas Academy, back-to-back decisive wins put us on map point.
We've been here before in this series, though, my friend. 5-2.
True.
We've been in this very position. What I will say, doesn't feel like Lore have much of an understanding of dealership at this point. It is understandable. It's also a very difficult situation to be in. Vegas Academy. Last time we saw defense, they made that big hit through B side. Do Lore Gaming intend to meet them? Do they intend to entrap them, wait for them? Or is it a different strategy out of this Vegas Academy team? Well, you're going to get 3 players rolling in through mid. And actually, yeah, this is going to be mostly B hit as Vegas flood mid.
Could see another wrap come on through, though. It's going to be Fame in the mid. I don't know if he actually got any info there. He actually fully backs on up. Bomb's trying to go down B. Mock will be able to find King of Body. All X on the inside catches a seam on the full sprint out. So just like that, it's QK and Roxas in a 2v4. It's a tall task for these two to close out this map. Time is ticking, though. You got to start doing something here together, and I like this. QK is going to be the one. He does find a Jackal, surges on forward. Fame does not let him get there, and well, if you're the last final player of Vegas Academy, half your body goes through the floor, but more importantly, you put yourself on a 5-3 curse.
I don't want to talk about it too soon. We'll wait one more round. But again, we have been here in this series. Never say ever. Never say it's over, sorry. Until we get through. I know. Brother, it's 2 a.m. You know what? I'm holding on by the skin of my teeth. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Vegas Academy, though.
You got it wrong twice.
No, I never. No, I didn't.
It's never say. It's never say never.
I said never say it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still a phrase. I'm allowed to say that phrase.
Anyway, Roxas gets the car bomb to kickstart. You see the RCXD come on out as well from QK.
I was curious about if he would take that towards that A-bomb, knowing the amount of explosives you can trigger with those cars.
I mean, it's not a bad idea, but I also like the patience from QK. He's able to find this. Fame on the inside. He gets cut on down, and well, Mock. Wait, Mock? Okay. I thought Mock was about to do something absolutely crazy. Almost does, but thankfully...
Made it exciting.
It made it exciting. Made it a great, exciting last little round, but it's a 6-3. Pretty decisive victory on Dealership for Vegas Academy. And Asim still rocking a Seattle Surge operator skin. Little interesting on that one. Leaks?
I mean, surely, like, if you're the Vegas Academy, you'd have been like, brother, buy the skin.
Yeah, we have 1 billion Vegas kits for you if you want. It doesn't matter, though. It's Dealership Search and Destroy. 6-3. That was fast. I think that's important.
Yeah. No, it is. And I think it's also one of them where it felt like for Vegas, again, they had an understanding. You know, you've got a situation where, you know, like, for example, where they do that big hit through B, nades come on over to clear out A, and as the opposing team are dealing with the fact you've lost a teammate, the dust is settling, the smoke is starting to clear, they've already wrapped pretty much round through the back to collapse on you. Just an understanding clearly coming out of Vegas Academy, putting in the time. When new maps come out, it can be difficult to get practice. Yes, indeed, at challenger level. It sometimes can be, but clearly they've been doing their homework. They've been putting in some time. So, you know, looking good out here. And we said it before we came into this. You've got QK and Roxas in particular, 2 very good S&D players. Feels like, don't get me wrong, King of Booty, Asim, they had good maps there and hopefully continue to have plenty more through the playoff run. But for them, it's a lot about coming into this and learning, okay, can we be a Dealership team? It's a new map where a lot of other teams are going to be struggling. We've got, you know, a very good S&D record coming on through. If we can have a little bit about us, take this away as well, VOD review, then you're setting yourself up for at least a map in playoffs. Are you... Maybe other teams will veto it out. Maybe you won't see it until map 5s if you can get there. But either way, you're giving yourself an opportunity and just rolling those dice in your favor.
No, I totally love that you bring that up. I think that is just going to be something that teams are going to be looking at, understanding that this Vegas Academy team, not only do they understand how to play Dealership, they understand how to do it well, right? I mean, obviously, this Lure Gaming team, very formidable opponent, right? And they went all the way to around 11 on that rewind search and destroy. They're a really fantastic team, and they looked a little silly on the Dealership, right? I mean, they just kind of did not have an idea of where some of these pre-nade spots were, how they wanted to watch some of these things. It just felt like Vegas Academy, they had actual plans, actual strats. They knew the timings. They knew how you wanted to play this map. So if you're a team who hasn't put in the reps onto Dealership, I think you're right. You've done one of 2 things if you are Vegas Academy. You've either now allowed a map to sneak on through a series that you should feel really good about, or you've just created an auto veto because other teams are going to say, we don't want to play Dealership at all, let alone against a team that is really good on it. So you might just have created an auto veto on yourself, which fantastic, great. That means they're not banning one of the other S&D maps. And we know that sometimes players, they love to go for some of those bigger S&D maps if possible. So like a protocol or a red card, right? On the other side. So loves huge stuff out of Vegas Academy.
No, I agree. I love the point that you bring up because it does indeed protect what could be your other preferred map. I mean, maybe it's a case of Dealership isn't even your favorite map. You just know it somehow better than these other teams. So you end up with a situation where, okay, well, now people aren't getting rid of our, I'm not sure what their favorite map would be, but let's say Hacienda. So now it's like, okay, well, now we get to pick that. Thank you very much. So yeah, I agree. I think it's a great spot to put you in. A lot of tools in the arsenal for this Vegas Academy team. Tools that they're going to need. We've seen that they've got a couple of weaknesses when it comes to respawn at times. While they can take over maps, map 1 was difficult to watch. You lost map 3 as well, despite some good efforts. So they are going to need things like that to get them through tough series. Because even though they do get through to playoffs, I mean, American elites, like, I mean, do we get confirmation of all of our teams yet? We know that It's Omit, Cabal Gaming, Royal Spartans, and Stallions on one side, and then Omit Brooklyn, Team War. I believe it'll be Falcons and Luxury Exotics that go through. So, yeah, NA bracket looking as stacked as ever. So the Falcons Academy are definitely going to need to have a couple of tricks up their sleeve.
Yeah, no, I mean they're going to have it. I mean, these are all just when we talk about these teams. I mean, Omit, Cabal, Royal Spartans, Stallions, like all four really good teams that we've seen some insane stuff out of. And then on the Group B, Omit Brooklyn, Team War, Falcons Academy, Luxury Exotics. Yet again, 4 fantastic teams that we have coming in here. I mean, this playoffs is about to be insane, dude, for Series 3. It's looking really good. Has me really excited for what we have coming down the pipe. That is there. I'm trying to think about when. So obviously we have this. We have one more day tomorrow, right?
We have, tomorrow will be first rounds of the playoffs, I believe. I'm pretty sure I'm right. So tomorrow should be first round of the playoffs, and then next week is the next stage and finals. If I'm correct.
Yes, grand finals is on the 17th of April. Losers bracket is just the 10th of April through, so next week would probably be like losers bracket.
Yeah. So we'll get a little bit of winners, mostly losers.
Yeah.
And punch on through.
Yeah, so next week will be so next week's Wednesday, Thursday is so tomorrow you get all of winners tomorrow and then 2 of the losers matches. And then next Wednesday is one last winners bracket match and then all losers. And then Thursday next week is...
so tomorrow on stream, we should have for EU and NA, winners round 1, winners round 2, and elimination round 1. So then the Wednesday after elimination round 2, winners finals, elimination round 3, and then the Thursday elimination final, grand final. I love how we're calling it elimination side of the bracket now.
Yeah, because we don't want to say losers.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like 1,000%.
Oh, I genuinely had no idea.
I've tried to say elimination bracket.
I've said lower sometimes.
Lower. I think lower elimination. I think is what people like rather than losers.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Yeah. I mean, I guess elimination bracket is.
Puckett said it once, and it was like a thing, and so that's why.
All right. Well,
if Puckett says it, it's true.
I want to follow in Puckett's footsteps in many ways. So, here we go.
That's fine.
Say elimination side.
Say elimination side.
But yeah, so, I mean, we got Seymour's going to be on tomorrow because you sir have a show to cast.
Well, actually, I don't anymore, but we have a different show to cast later. So I still can't be here during the day, but that's fine.
Okay.
My show tomorrow got moved, but I do need to take the day to still work. Because we have a show next week.
So, I mean, we also, you and me have a show tomorrow at some point, no? So we might not get to cover every game. So it might be a case of, I mean, I'll speak to Seymour. We'll be on for...
Maybe at least be able to do the first one.
Yeah, I think we should be able to do NA. So EU, we should be able to do winners round 1, elimination round 1, winners round 2, and then NA, I think, just winners round 1. I think we may have to pass up on the second 2, unfortunately.
Yeah, which is okay. It happens. But what that does mean, actually, it kind of sucks because then the week after, I guess it depends on when our Wednesday gig finishes. But anyway, then aren't you working Thursday next week?
I have no idea. One second, let me check.
I feel like you are.
I have a big calendar for these things. I went to Google Calendar and it gave me Call the Midwife. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
It's like a series about like World War I midwives who would like birth babies in crazy situations. I'm not working next Thursday.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll be here for Thursday. So at least we can watch like grand finals.
I'm working Tuesday. Is that what you meant?
No, I'm not working Tuesday.
Oh, okay, cool.
But we are working Wednesday. Which I don't know if you saw the I'll talk to you after. The Wednesday thing is really cool, everybody, and you should follow us both on social media to hear about the really cool thing on Wednesday.
Yeah. So we'll be doing some of the games tomorrow. So we should get the 3 Europeans, 1 North American, but then we might not have a show at all Wednesday.
Yep.
And then Thursday though, we should be able to get it in. Although I am supposed to be at a wedding reception Thursday. No, it's an actual wedding reception. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. Either way, make sure you're following us. But yes, they will be live tomorrow. It'll be Enigma and Seymour. Huge shout out to Colin for jumping in, not only today but also tomorrow. Obviously, Enigma got all the tech stuff fixed, so that's good. That's a W. That means just tomorrow will be nice and smooth and clean for EU. It'll be a fun time. So make sure you're tuning on in. Those games start at what, 2 Eastern?
Yes.
Or for you? What time for you? Because if you're tuning into EU, you probably care.
Because I think tomorrow actually starts an hour later than today. So tomorrow starts an hour earlier. So 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time.
Okay. Wait, then maybe maybe you will be able to do NA if they're starting earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I'll check in with Seymour though to see if he's available earlier. Basically.
Well, if he's not, I now am. So let me know.
Okay,
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Either way, 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, 6 p.m. British Standard Time. Is that BST?
Yeah,
right.
It is. Yeah. British summertime, but yeah.
British summertime. That almost makes it worse. Anyway,
you guys do the whole clock changing crap as well.
It's only some of us, and to be fair, most of us that have to go through it are like literally actively trying to vote to not have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think we're past it as well. I think we're a bit over it. But
either way, make sure you're tuning in. It'll be right here, youtube.com/quickfix. Quickfix pod, rather, actually, is the actual name. So we'll be there. Make sure you follow us on social media for any updates. We're trying to post more clips and things for the community from the broadcast. Obviously, any huge plays or any breakdowns or cool segments or stuff we want to do. I will say one of the improvements we are going to do, I'm going to talk to our production people to see, because we run a 60-second delay on our side. I actually just want to see if we can get to a point where the feed we get is already 60 seconds behind, so that way we can then just be casting in real time, so that way, like, if you guys are saying stuff in chat, then we can like just immediately interact rather than there be the 60-second delay. So I'm gonna ask that question to figure that out, because I think that would be sick to do. That's there. But either of that, I think that's all we got. You got anything else you want to say, brother?
No. Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. We'll obviously keep you guys updated with everything that's going on. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously a pleasure to get to do what we do. We're trying to. This is obviously the very early days of this. We'll be figuring it out as we go. Tech issues earlier is an example of that. We overcome, we evolve, we adapt, and we are very much so excited for what we've got planned. So yeah, I mean, pleasure as always, my friend. I'm sure we'll do a little bit of waffling just now off stream. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, getting to cast with you, always a great time.
Yes, sir. All right. We'll see you everybody tomorrow. You'll have Seymour and Enigma here. Maybe I'll make an appearance. Who knows? But at the very least, got some banger games tomorrow. So we will see you then. Later, everybody.